You guys, I'm hearing possibly some of the best Star Wars since Disney took over. But let's get into this. All right, we are back. You know what? And we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to go over. We got some great stuff that we're going to get into here. But before we do, I would be remiss. Bailey, how are you doing, ma'am? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. As y'all can see, I don't have my usual setup and whatnot. I'm out of town. I guess maybe in spirit of the show, I too have decided to disappear. But I'm doing great. I'm having a great time over here. Thank you. I'm very happy.
You know what? Well, we are happy to have you. I cannot believe you took time out of your trip to hang out with three middle-aged nerds online and talk about Star Wars. So you know that's why I love you. Christian, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little happy that you came back after the ringing I put you through last time because I'm so rude. So it's good to see you, man. How are you doing? How are things in the UK?
I'm great. It's good. The weather generally is warming up for us. I know you guys will laugh at that, but it is warming up for us. But yeah, life is good, and I'm enjoying Star Wars.
Excellent. That's warming up. It's probably up to about 50.
Isn't that cute?
So cute out.
Isn't that adorable?
Yeah. Programming note: this whole side of the thing, we're all from Arizona. It was the temperature at Josh's house in the middle of December for us. So
right.
But Alan, we got you as a special guest because Bailey probably is going to have to leave partway through the show. Plus, you know what? I wouldn't have gotten anybody else because, first of all, I have to love you because you're my brother. But second of all, I know kind of mom would be mad if I did.
Yeah.
But you're awesome and you're fun to talk to about this stuff. So how are you doing, sir? By the way, nice shirt.
Thank you. Nice shirt to you too. Isn't that cute? We're both supporting each other here with our different also, I have my guest appearance.
Oh, look at little Kevin back there.
Little sleepy boy. He kind of blends into that comfort there.
Right.
Doing well. Happy to be here. Excited to talk about the show. I will offer you guys my outsider's layman takes. My hot takes.
Every take you have is hot, baby. That's why
because I live in Arizona.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I was gonna. Really quick, Alan. I know you're working on some new stuff. You know, last time you were on, it was your Twitch ill owl thing, but I know it's kind of switched. Why don't you talk about that real fast?
Oh yeah. So last year I did this really cool. It's a music thing, a sample-based beat challenge. It was called Sunday School Beats. This year we're in our second season and we're back as the Beatcast. So same exact fun stuff. If you want to find out more about it, just go to thebeatcast.com.
Awesome. I appreciate it. It's a blast. It's obviously nothing to do with Star Wars. It's about music and music making, which is also kind of my jam. So I get a kick out of it. Yeah. Wow, you guys, we kind of went over it beforehand, but we got a lot here. We got a ton of people in chat already. If you're joining us live today, thank you so much. I know there's a lot going on. Connor explained to me, Christian, that apparently some soccer football team or whatever is playing today, and that's important.
Yes, I mean, I'm not a big football fan, which is what soccer is. But yeah, there is a final of sorts.
Yeah, isn't that against the law in the United Kingdom? I thought all you guys
kind of. Yeah, okay. Probably shouldn't have admitted that online.
Right? Yeah. Now you think the Gray James thing was bad? Stand by, right? Yeah. So between soccer, football going on in the United Kingdom, Star Wars Celebration is going on right now. I just, we may not get anybody join us, but it looks like we already got 14, 15 people. So like I said, if you're joining us live, thank you so much for picking us. You have a lot of entertainment options today. If you're watching us on the rewind, thank you very much. That's very cool. And if you're at Star Wars Celebration right now and you're watching us, what the hell are you doing? Go inside. Go have fun in Star Wars Celebration, for God's sakes. So we got a ton of people here today. Man, it's off the chain. We got Tyler the Nerd. We got Collecting with Cool. There's Matt. Jonathan Redmond, Michael. It's always good to see you, my brother. Left Coast, Chris in the house. Chris has been all over the internet, near as I can tell, with this new show. Chris, we might actually agree with a lot of your stuff today. Or not Chris, Rick. Let's see. There's JT. Hey, Unit fam. That's why I kept saying Chris, because Chris is here today. Joe Blake Skywalker. I love that name, by the way. That's a cool one. Oh, check it out. Hey, Brandon. Talking about disappearing. Brandon comes and goes like the wind sometimes, man. And there is Flex. Okay. Well, without any further ado, I'm going to go round robin really fast before we get into. Oh, hold on. There's a new friend I made recently, Brett on Fet. Brett's good to see you, brother. I'm going to go round robin really fast and just get a quick 10-second overview, like what you thought, where your head's at about these 2 episodes, and then we'll get into the details. Bailey, let's start with you, ma'am. What did you think so far?
Oh, I love it. This is like everything I wanted in a Star Wars show, like new Star Wars content in a long time. You guys know I'm a little biased. This is my jam. This is, I like my Space Wizards a lot. But I love it. The bait and switch that we'll talk about later, but what they're doing with the story, the acting, the effects, it's amazing. So I'm just completely in love with the show so far.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Christian, how about you, sir? Where's your headspace at?
To be fair, it's difficult to follow that because I echo it. Yeah, I mean, just sort of like we said last week, going into this with no sort of preconceived ideas, just trying to just enjoy it for what it could be and enjoying every minute of it. Particularly enjoying that what I was expecting kept getting flipped. That happened quite a few times.
Yep. Nice. Alan. Now, Alan, for those of you who don't know my brother, is kind of more of a layman than Bailey. And I would class Bailey as the number 1 Star Wars person here, then probably Christian with a very close second. I'm just the idiot who pushes buttons, but Alan is just kind of seen it all. But he's kind of the layman. So we get him on here because I love to see his perspective on things as well. Alan, what did you think so far of what you got?
I thought it was interesting. Like, it was cool to see Obi-Wan Kenobi again. And the main thing I was looking forward, just coming in from like the outsider's point of view, I want to see Darth Vader. And so, and I know we'll get into that later on. So, but yeah, right. That's the main thing I'm looking forward to is that. Plus, I want to get a piece of that old school 1980s vibe that I had from back in the day with those releases.
Right. Yeah, for me, it's the 1970s vibe.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I was barely vibing in the 70s, dude.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about. I think you were. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. And of course, Bailey's my daughter's age, for God's sake. But anyway, right. Really quick, Rick has a question. Does Bailey know yet that Sabine, Hera, and Chopper have been revealed for Ahsoka show? Did you see that, Bailey?
I did not, but that doesn't surprise me.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we kind of figured we knew we're kind of looking forward to the Ahsoka show being kind of a continuation of Rebels. So we'll see how.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's not what I want. I want the Ahsoka show to be Ahsoka, but okay.
We'll go up and down apparently at the rate we're going here. There, my friend is John Joker, J Squared in the house. Okay, guys, we got a ton to go over. I just want to get right into this if y'all are cool with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do this.
Bailey, we're going to start off with you because as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Once again, we're being subjected to watching Order 66 in so many different ways. But yeah, they start out pretty strong with this. And I just have to say, first and foremost, you guys know I'm not one to be like, wow, the aesthetics, but man, lightsabers have gotten cooler and cooler looking as time goes on. Like I was just like, they're so cool looking. And just seeing the troopers in their phase 2 armor that's not CGI is also pretty fantastic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they hit us hard, reminding us once again of, how we got where we are. And it seems like, it didn't hit me immediately at the time, but as the show went on, and I know there's a lot of theories as to why they started with this, because it's really just a group of random younglings that we're seeing here. But I think these children might be characters we see later, like Reva, I'm assuming is the little girl that we see here, and then maybe some of the others are the other Jedi that we have seen in the show, but otherwise, why show this? But yeah, I feel like there was an intention with this scene.
Agree. Christian, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I loved this opening. To be fair, just to sort of backtrack, the sort of catch up I really welcomed. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was really nice the way that it sort of rattled through everything and really built it up. I felt excited going into it, and I wasn't expecting it either. And then we had that beautiful sort of landscape shot, and the Star Wars music, and I was really sucked in, and it came out, and we had the younglings being trained, and And I was thinking to myself, where are we? Like, where does this fit? I was expecting sand dunes and, you know, lots of nothing. But there was this beautiful music. There was this, like, it looked visually really exciting, really sort of stunning. And then suddenly, bang, it just all kicked off, Order 66. And I was just like, boom, we've arrived straight there, no messing. And yeah, I was just gripped.
Right. Alan, this is one of those slides I'm going to do all three perspectives on. First of all, and once again, you know me, when I ask these questions, I'm not trying to insult you because I don't know how far you go into the lore, but do you know what's going on here and what you're looking at, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, I've pieced it together over, you know, listening and watching things. But the coolest part, you know, for me was hearing that voiceover at the end where he says "execute Order 66." I thought that was kind of, you know, creepy and ominous. It was yeah, it was a cool scene. And like you said, things have changed. Like this looks like this whole scene looked amazing. Like the effects was pretty wild.
Yeah. So for me, the armor being live action armor, just it made it so much better for me. Side note, we talk about him a lot. My buddy Artisher, who's at Celebration right now, he's one of those 501st clones.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so they won't tell me which one yet because he's still in parts of the show that are coming up, him and KC, but I got a kick out of that. So we got a ton of left. Hold on, there's Steve-O has joined us. We got a bunch of people joining. Thank you very much, because I know you guys have a bunch of stuff that you could be talking about or looking at today. Alan, I'm going to switch something really quick while we're at it here too, so that when I put up the comments, it covers me, not you. So
thank you.
Let's head. You're welcome. Alan, I want to start with you because you know so little about this that you had no idea what you were looking at probably. But when they flipped from that scene to this, what were you thinking and what did you think of this? What did you think was happening here?
I was like, damn, dude, they have parades with floats? No, I'm scared. I've seen this in Batman.
It's Celebration Day. Yeah. Right, yeah. Oh, it does look like the Bat thing, doesn't it? Yeah, okay, yeah.
No. I didn't think anything. I was just, you know, anytime I'm seeing a ship come in, I'm always like, is it Vader? Like, you know, is it going to be Vader? Obviously, that's not the shape, but
okay.
Yeah.
So you have kind of like a preconceived expectation what you want to see in this show, clearly, huh?
Right. And I didn't know about the Inquisitors so much. I think I've seen them in video games, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Christian, when you saw this, what were you thinking, man?
I wanted to know who it was. I mean, obviously from the trailer, we knew that it was going to be the Inquisitors, but I kind of thought maybe there was going to be some sort of a red herring, but it was Inquisitors.
Yeah.
They did the classic Star Wars that this felt very much like a Western, lots of those sort of long, wide shots, you know. I swear when they were walking, I could hear spurs, but that might have just been armor, like, you know, jangling. But yeah, I was really excited. And they even referred to the bar as a saloon. And I don't know if that's a running theme, but I did notice that they called it a saloon in this.
I've never heard them call it a saloon either. Yeah, but that was pretty cool. We'll talk about this really quickly because we brought it up last time. Bailey, we talked. You don't care. I think most of us didn't care, but they did change his makeup a little bit and fix his eyes. Bailey, did you notice that?
I did, and I wasn't, surprised because that's how he looks in the animation. What I find interesting is how some have those eyes and some don't. Kind of like how Dooku never had Sith eyes. This is what we refer to him as Sith eyes, and others don't. So I find that interesting. Whether or not he has them, no, I don't care.
Fair enough. Christian, I'd like to start off with you on this. And the acting in this, in my opinion, was off the chain compared to a lot of what we've seen recently, and we'll leave it at that. You wanted to talk a little bit about what you're seeing here with Obi-Wan. Go, brother.
Yeah, so the thing that I noticed sort of straight away was the correlation between Obi-Wan's character here and Rey in Force Awakens. Just the fact that, in Force Awakens, obviously, we see Rey getting not as much as she's expecting when she's going to get her portions. And that's pretty much what happens here with his payment. Then he goes to prepare a meal, and it's the same, putting it in a dish, putting the liquid in, and it obviously expands. Then he goes out and sits on his own outside to look across the sand dunes. Like, there was just so many parallels that I couldn't help but feel like it was almost like they were trying to embrace the sequels, like instantly, I know that the sequels are a real hot topic for Star Wars fans, but I kind of liked that they gently sort of nodded at it. And aside from all of that, I thought this was beautifully acted. I didn't really know how I felt about Obi-Wan at this stage in the episode. I was still trying to understand where he's at in his headspace. I think, to be honest, I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, overall, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I certainly get a sense of how long this has been going on and how he is very much in his own thoughts.
Nice. Bailey, are you happy with how they're treating your main man so far?
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So yeah, absolutely. I love the costuming too, and just the way he looks it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Alan, so far, you know, obviously you can use your experience with both of the episodes, but how is Ewan McGregor doing being a more broken, older Obi-Wan Kenobi to you? Good, bad, indifferent?
Oh yeah, no, he's a phenomenal actor. So I mean, that's what we're getting. It's really good acting at this point. Sometimes less is more. You know, you can say a lot with your face.
Oh my God, I didn't even put it in those words, but that's perfect because some of the shots, which we'll talk about here in a minute, you could just see the pain on him. That's awesome. Alan, I'm going to stick with you, and then we'll go up to Christian on this one. Because I know, you know, we're probably the biggest collector of the toys. Alan, what did you think of this whole scene with the Jawa? A little bit of comic relief.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. It was a little lighthearted moment there to see them go back and forth. I enjoyed this. I thought it was cool.
Christian, we talked about this earlier. The general consensus is that this toy he has is the power of the Force, T-16 Skyhopper. What did you think of this whole thing and them using one of those in there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I liked it, and the Skyhopper is also in A New Hope, isn't it? Luke is playing with the Skyhopper.
Yeah, that's the one that they think they give him, that he gives him.
Yeah. So I like the fact that we're starting to see things that aren't sort of crucial. We're not sort of Solo level with the dice that's in every shot. But I quite like this, and I enjoyed the humor here. For me, this is where Disney's doing okay as far as humor is concerned. Historically, with the films, I feel that the humor has been very forced and quite painful. This I quite enjoyed, and there are some lines that are delivered throughout this that I genuinely found funny. Like, you know, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I got a kick out of, if you're gonna sell my parts back to me, at least clean them first. You know, I mean, little stuff like that. They did a good job. I want to space someone who rarely can join us because he's in the UK. This is Dave over at Vintage Toy Rush. It is good to have you, my brother. So thank you.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah, lots of spoilers. If you haven't seen the episodes, you're going to want to leave. So yeah, and Matt put it best. The banter with the Jawa was just a nice break for a second after everything we just been through. So
yeah,
let's go over here. Christian, I got to start with you. I know you're the arbiter of whether or not Andy sends me a hat or vice versa. What say you?
This is it. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that Andy owes you a hat.
All right. Did you see that, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, Andy, I don't know if Andy's going to be watching because obviously he is at Celebration, or probably hiding, to be fair, given that he lost within, you know, the first half of the show. But this scene was fantastic. You know, it's kind of, it was enough. I don't know how you guys feel, but this was enough for me as far as these sort of flashbacks are concerned.
Bailey, I see you're nodding your head. We got beat over the head with flashbacks during Book of Boba Fett that didn't make a lot of sense. How did they do this time?
This is perfect. And I have to say, whoever edited these flashbacks, like the whole intro to this show was beautifully done, fantastic. And this is exactly what I want to see when it comes to like flashbacks. It's to the point, and just the way it was done was just like, it hits you. You know, it's kind of like, I think what either Christian or Alan said, you can say a lot by doing little. And this is what it is. It's like just a few just crucial scenes with the crucial lines and audio mixed together. You get the point. I'm glad it's not in the back of the tank. Thank God. This is exactly what I wanted to see. But yeah, no, this is perfect. Whoever edited those shots, my God, give them a raise. A fantastic job.
I agree. Really quick, we're going to answer John's questions. You guys correct me if you think you have a better answer. When I first saw that sand shark, I'm like, wow, they didn't have oceans for a very long time. How is that meat still good? The supposition is that that's one of those time traveling whales in space, Bailey, from Rebels, is what people are saying they think that is. Bailey, what do you think?
Cool.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I wasn't paying. You guys amaze me with what you pay attention to, so thank you.
Christian, do you have a better idea, or is that reasonable?
I mean, to be honest, initially I thought it was effectively another crate dragon, And then I sort of watched it a couple of times, and I saw that it is quite clearly, aquatic in some sense. So yeah, unfortunately, I've got nothing.
Fair enough. Alan, I think you and I will just go with it space sushi and leave it at that.
I didn't even know there was time traveling whales. This is new to me.
We're not going to get into it yet.
Oh yeah, it's a purgle with tentacles. This is a shark wheel thing. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's funny. A purgle is its name. Everybody thinks it's a purgle. Alan, I didn't even know there were time traveling whales. I love you, dude. We'll go get sushi after this, okay? Because it'll only be 2:00 here. So, right. Alan, I'm going to start with you on this one. So you remember Obi-Wan Kenobi from the original series, and now we're at a point where he's turning down his fellow Jedi to help them. What did you get out of this? What did you think? Was it done well or what?
Yeah, it was done well. It was hard to watch, just to see how broken he is and how much he wants to just remain in hiding and everything like that. It's, obviously polar opposite from the leader that he was, so it's pretty wild to see.
Mm-hmm. Is Ewan doing a good job of convincing you that his character really feels this way, Alan?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, obviously, the way this is going to go, but but sure. Yeah, he's right. Definitely, you get that sense of like, damn, this man's broken,
Nice. Once again, broad daylight. You can see me and my air conditioning vent in this picture. Sorry, in the dark ones. Bailey, I think I've asked you this before, but I want to make sure. Are you happy with what Ewan is doing with Obi-Wan Kenobi here, ma'am?
Yes, absolutely. I have no complaints.
Okay, you're the one. I mean, I'm worried about what these two guys think, but you got this guy tattooed on your arm, for God's sake. So I was like, please don't mess this up. So I'm glad to hear that you think they're doing good. So let's move on here. Bailey, I'm going to go right back to you. Sure. Alderaan, tell me what you thought when you saw this, because wow.
I was like, yes. I love this bait and switch and Alderaan. And I mean, even though it's tragic, we know what's going to happen to it eventually, but it is so cool to just see it. And especially nowadays with what they can do with the effects and the CGI and whatnot, it's fantastic. I was very happy to see this.
Nice. Christian, what's going with your head when this pops up? I'm like, oh, here's something. We're going somewhere here. Okay.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it's serious contrast. We obviously saw Luke on the homestead, and then we sort of suddenly see Alderaan, and we see this world, and just like, again, the music was stunning. I don't know if we're going to quickly jump into talking about Leia, but like obviously that whole sort of scene of her getting ready, getting prepared in that chamber by all of the maids, and then it turns out not to be her. I thought it was so playful. It felt legitimately very sort of Disney princess. And I loved it. I lapped it up. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. And obviously, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time we're seeing Alderaan, certainly in live action, apart from seeing it blow up. But yeah, it was really nice seeing this side of things, and I wasn't expecting it. I think last week, Super Awesome Geek Show, John, he mentioned, Leia might be in it, and lo and behold.
Well, Brandon made a good point. We were all speculating what was going to pull him off, and if that isn't it, I don't know what is. Alan, I want to go back real quick. To answer your question, Christian, we've seen Alderaan in live action very briefly, a quick fly through in a room during Revenge of the Sith when they drop off the baby.
Right, yeah, with Bail,
yeah. Alan, do you know what this is and what's going on, and what did you think of it?
I was just happy to be going to new places.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And it looks cool. So it's like, okay, what's this?
Yeah, so see, that's why you're here, Alan, because, that's Alderaan. Great. We're not on Tatooine anymore, thank God, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so obviously...
Water.
Yeah. Right. Oh, snow. Look at that. Yeah.
Snow-capped mountains.
But I think you guys all put it very best. First of all, it's refreshing to get to new locations, Alan. Hey, check it out. Obi-Wan's your cool cousin that goes places.
Right. Yeah, he's your cool uncle that goes places.
In Star Wars, this is the planet that they blow up to begin with Princess Leia standing there, because that's where she's from. That's what right. This is out. Yeah. Okay. And to Bailey and Christian's point, we already were getting that dark Star Wars I was hoping for. It's nice for them to give my heart a break for a second and go do something, silly for 5 minutes. So I thought it was awesome. And you guys Bailey put it bait and switch. Whoa. All we saw was Luke in the trailers, and here we got Leia. Bailey, I know that you and I are probably the harshest when it comes to some of the child actors in these. I mean, the cartoon with what's her name, Omega. There's so many,
God.
yeah, so many tropes. It was still good, but it's so many tropes. What do you think of this little girl playing Leia? She doing good?
She's doing a wonderful job, and yeah, I am not a fan, guys. Like, even though I'm a teacher, I'm not like a kid person. That's why I do older kids and teach older kids. Yeah. But that's Leia. Like, there's no denying. You can totally see the woman she's gonna grow into, and it was just so nice. It's so nice to see more of just Leia in general. Who she is and her background more. I loved it. She's great. This little girl is doing her justice.
Beautiful. Christian, what did you think of her?
Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. I love the sass. I can certainly believe that this is her. You know, we've seen her a little later on in life like this. It's believable that this is her. And I loved all of the sort of nods to both Leia later in life and also Padme throughout this, you know, especially like hairstyles, outfits, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, great.
Absolutely. She's Bale's daughter in every way. Great way to portray Leia. I agree. Alan, I want to start off with you because, a lot of us are a little confused here, I think. Why do you think Owen is so upset with Ben Kenobi based on what you understand of the Star Wars lore, Alan?
I mean, most likely he's concerned that, Obi-Wan is going to end up leading Luke, down that same path that Anakin went, so he just probably has those fears there and just, stay away from him. I don't want to have this happen all over again. So,
what you're saying is it sounds like it's anger, but it's based out of fear. It's not actual anger. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Most likely. It's just a protective dad vibe, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we won't go into our background. That's something that Alan and I are quite used to. So when we see it, we kind of have to parse it out and see. We are the protective dads now.
Right.
Christian, what do you think of how they're portraying the relationship between these two early on like this?
I like it because we need that friction to understand why there's this resistance later on in obviously A New Hope. I totally understand why he is reserved to let Obi-Wan anywhere near Luke. I mean, surely we all can appreciate that, you've witnessed what's happened to Anakin. Why on earth would we want to allow Luke to go anywhere near this world? Keep him as far away from it as possible. It doesn't matter that he's growing up on a farm. Keep him on the farm. At least he's safe. At least he's going to live.
Right. Bailey, Obi-Wan responds to him, there's a whole galaxy out there. He's got to be trained. I was a little shocked to hear Kenobi say that, considering what he knows. You would think he'd want to just go ahead and stay safe on the farm. What are his other considerations, and do you think that's cool?
Well, he's seen that clearly Luke wants more. He's seen him, play and like he knows, like, wow, this is really Anakin's kid, wanting adventure and whatnot. And I think, I think we got polar opposites here. Like, being sheltered isn't great. There is a thing of being overprotective and, a life on the farm, a life that you don't want to live. Luke doesn't want to be a farmer. We see this in A New Hope. He wants more. And Owen is kind of, putting a cap on that. And what kind of life is that? So I see both sides, but at the same time, I still don't get why Owen is an asshole to Obi-Wan at this level. Obi-Wan has not done anything, as Lisa, we can see, like, it never once been rude. He's delivered a baby to him and that's it. Unless he's heard Anakin's whining from the previous, but even then he's acting like he was so close to Anakin and they weren't. So I don't really get his level. I can get the protectiveness, but at the same time, I don't understand why he's being so cruel. Because he's slandering a man who has literally lost everything and it really isn't doing anything wrong. Like, he's just delivering a toy to Luke. That's it. He's not grooming him. He's no Palpatine. So yeah, that's the one thing I don't understand is why he's so, like, just at this level rude.
I think that's an excellent way to put it. Maybe that's what I was feeling. I'm like, Ben is clearly a broken man at this point. You can tell him to screw off, but you can say it nicely, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being soft. Michael's got a question. I think everybody here knows the answer to that. Bail Organa was definitely killed when Alderaan was destroyed. Everybody agree?
Yes.
Christian, you don't know any different?
Yes, so I've never really thought about that, to be honest, but I would assume so.
Yeah, I think the general presumption is that Bail Organa was killed. So
just to sort of chime in, if I may, the reason that I think that he's being such an asshole towards Obi-Wan is because the world that they're living in now, it's so easy for them to blame the Jedi for it. You know, the reason that we've got Inquisitors storming around the streets threatening people is because of the Jedi, from their point of view. You know, these people don't really care about beyond their street, beyond their town, you know, beyond their house even. And suddenly there's all this stuff going on. There's all these people storming around the place, and all they see is them hunting Jedi. So they're naturally going to start resenting and blaming them for it.
Oh, yeah. So I'm loath to go here, but I think there was some people were making connections to like the Holocaust, where you turn a group of people against other people who were never wronged by them in the first place and stuff like that. And we won't go any further into that, but I see that same mindset. It's a good point, Christian. So yeah. Alan, I want to go over to you. We talked about this earlier. This is the most I'll say during this show. I'm having a hard time trying to decide what I think of Reva, this character. Is she annoying me? And if she is annoying me, is it because the character itself is annoying, or the actress is overacting or underacting or something? Alan, I want to get your honest thoughts from a third-party perspective. What do you think of this actress and this character and the way she's being portrayed?
Well, I think that her character is designed to be not likable at this point. Like, I think we're supposed to not like her. But from the acting standpoint, I feel like she's overacting a little bit. There's parts where I think she's trying to be menacing, where it's just like, I'm not catching that vibe, you know? More so like the things that I have issues with her, and I know we'll probably get into this more as we go through some of her powers. Like here in this scene, when she's talking to Owen here, she could just read his mind and figure out where everyone what's going on, where the Jedi is. Like why not look at that as like a big problem, you know? I mean, her hand is literally about to touch him, you know, and then she could read his mind and be like, he's right there, you know. Obi-Wan is literally 2 feet to my left. So that was my problem with it more. It was very distracting. But yeah, I think she's supposed to, you know, not, you know, her character in general is supposed to be not like, but a lot of parallels. What, you know, she's driven. Here's the thing too, you got to ask yourself, like, you know, is that really a problem? Because like, you know, she is getting a lot of shit done, you know, and she's got a mission, you know what I mean? And like, who cares if, you know, we don't like it? She's got shit to do. So
yeah, protocol doesn't seem to be her thing.
Right. It's a means to an end, you know?
Yeah, fair enough. Christian, I saw you up there nodding your head a lot while Alan was talking. You have something you want to offer on that for me?
Yeah, just like it was weird because there were parts in this whereby I was watching her and I was quite sort of, you know, fearful of what she was going to do. You know, when she chops that woman's hand off, you know, without any sort of consideration whatsoever. You know, I feel like this would normally, that would have been built up. You know, there would have been a threat, there would have been like this tension, but she just goes and does it, and I was like, bang, wow, okay. You know, I wasn't expecting that. And then some of the lines she delivers, I think, carry a lot of weight. But then, much like you, Paul, there were other lines where I was feeling like she was overacting, over pushing herself. Like it felt really weird because I really wanted to not like her in the right way, but I sort of felt a little bit sort of pulled out by her performance at times. You know, I felt like at times she was terrifying, and then others it's like, you know, I felt like she just needed to be sent to bed early.
I'm going to be interested to see what I feel about it when I go back and visit this show 5 years from now, and then look at it, you know, because I'm not going to lie, my perspective on the prequels has changed greatly in those years since. So we'll see. Those are some good points. And then Christian, I want to stay with you on this one because you and I pay closer attention to the aesthetics. This is the guy that plays the Korean dude, or he is Korean, in Fast and Furious. And I was looking at him going, wow, what do you think of how they did up this guy?
Yeah, I think he looks great. You know, again, like the comparison to this character's in Rebels as well, as the one that's sort of over exaggerated, quite tall, and all the rest of it. And I thought that he looked great. I like the character. I like the fact that he and he's very much sort of following the Grand Inquisitor, quite the opposite to Reva. You know, she's obviously doing her own thing like a stroppy teenager at this point. But yeah, the way that he looks, it feels right, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It feels believable. They've managed to take this animated character and bring him to live action in a non-comedic way.
Right. Yeah. Bailey, are you agreeing with that? Because in the cartoon, he's much huger and he has that silly hat. And I'm thinking, wow, that's going to look a little weird in live action, but they pulled it off and it looks good, I think. What do you think, Bailey?
No, I think they did a beautiful job with the portrayal. You guys, honestly, I find Rebels quite silly for many reasons. And one of it is the animation and the way people look. But let me just wanted to chime in. I'm kind of on the opposite with you guys on your thoughts on Reva.
Oh,
just
okay.
like I enjoy her. She reminds me a lot of, if you've ever played Fallen Order, Trilla, the second sister, where she's kind of like in that same mindset. Like she became an Inquisitor because of something deeply personal, and I think maybe because we'll get into it later, but she clearly has something with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and I think she's one of the little girls that witnessed Order 66. So there is a drive to her. She has her own, but there's a reason why she's acting the way she is, and I think she's doing a great job. I just have to say, it's funny because to me, having watched Rebels and whatnot, I always found the Inquisitors incredibly silly and just lame. And then when Fallen Order came out and you see Trilla just get shit done, that's when I was like, oh, so they can be a threat. And that's kind of how I see her, is the Grand Inquisitor is just monologuing and talking and talking and talking and talking and getting nothing done, where she's just bam, she's getting shit done. And she really had Obi-Wan. I gotta say that the women get it done, and I'm for it. And the other Inquisitors are quite lame to me, because all they do is they talk. They do an awful lot of this and not a lot of this. They're bad people. Inquisitors are supposed to be bad people. Yeah, they're gonna chop some limbs. They're terrible. Get shit done, because then I'm gonna be like, oh, you're a threat. If you're monologuing to me, I'll just kill myself. I mean, honestly, just shut up. So I like her, and I think she's doing a great job. And in the Inquisitors, you can this actress can interpret her however she wants. It's not like Ewan and Hayden that have to follow a certain thing with Anakin and Obi-Wan, but I think she's fantastic, and I can't wait to see where it goes. She gets stuff done, so I like her.
Well, you got some fans in chat, and I believe the three of us down here definitely can't argue with the fact that who's getting stuff done in this show.
The women. She might die. I mean, she's probably gonna die, but at least
she's dead. Yeah.
She's so dead.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Thank you guys in the chat for chiming in. Thank you.
Yeah, you got a lot of fans on that one. Yeah, I think Steve-O and John for sure, and there was a couple of others that were like, see, and that's why I asked, because there you go, Flex. Yeah, I'm with Bailey.
Woo-hoo!
Get it, Reva.
Thank you, guys.
We'll hit this one real quick. I just thought this was pretty cool. I'm a big Jimmy Smits fan. As the motorcycle gang show that he did, Sons of Anarchy, he was in that. He was in a lot of other stuff that I like. It was just good to see him. Alan, do you know who Jimmy Smits' character is in here, and what did you think of this?
Oh, I've seen him before, but no, I don't know who he is in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. So he's basically Leah's father, their adopted father. This is Briha, her mother, and this is the people that Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of drops the baby off to the girl at the end of Revenge of the Sith to keep him hidden from the Empire. So, and this is the guy that Michael Hendrickson was asking if he dies when they blow up Alderaan, and the general consensus is yes. So I think I even read a story, Bailey, in one of those books that had all the quatrains or whatever it was that talked about them dying. So. Alan, I'd like to start off with you on this one, because I'd like to get your take on this one. You've been related to me for your entire life. I've been in politics my whole life. I'm interested in seeing how the Empire was able to take over and do stuff. And we get a lot of lines from this guy about keeping people rich and stuff like that. First of all, what did you get out of what was going on in this scene? And what did you think of it, Al?
I'll be boldly honest with you. During this point, this reminded me of portions of the films that came out in the 2000s, the prequels and stuff like this, where they started getting into trade and politics, and I just you know, I'm like, cool, dude, hurry up, you know, like, and a bunch of other shit I don't care, and spreadsheets and Excel documents, and you know, like, and skip lightsabers, hurry up, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
so for me, that's what happens with this kind of stuff. I think it's cool that they, you know, you get to see some of the back end of what's going on, but I don't care.
And that, my friend, was what I was predicting you were going to say, which is why I started off with you, because man, you got to be a nerd like me to care what this guy's talking about. Christian, whose back you got on this one, mine or Alan's? What did you think of this?
So I'm kind of a midway between the two. I'm glad that Alan said that, because to a certain extent, that's kind of how I felt. Like there's a part of me that's like excited about learning a little bit more about why things are going on, and then there's the other part of me that's just like, I want to see the action. Like let's get stuck into this. Like, I'm kind of bored now. Like, come on, let's move along. That being said, I did legitimately enjoy this scene. More specifically, I enjoyed the Leia and her cousin interactions. But yeah, earlier you made a great point about what this guy was saying. I don't know if you want to say that about that.
No, he just pointed out that that's how you control people, with money, because he doesn't care about slavery, he doesn't care about nothing else. Make me rich and I don't care, and that's how Palpatine was so successful.
Yeah, so like I took that on board without really paying attention to what he was saying, and then when you explained it to me earlier that that's what you took from it, it made a lot more sense to me, you know, and I sort of felt a little bit guilty for wanting the scene to hurry up.
30 years in government will mess your mind up. That's what that is, Christian. That doesn't make me smart. It makes me broken.
but yeah, specifically this scene, you know, seeing Leia with her cousin, this interaction was wonderful. And it's kind of, we're already seeing older Leia that we know at 10 years old.
Yes. Bailey?
I love this, and I can't help but wonder if she's using the Force without realizing it, because what she says is so pointed, you know, like, and she could be a very inquisitive child, and people can like say pointed stuff, but she just goes so personal in the best way, and I just can't help but wonder if she's just using the Force without realizing it.
Yeah,
she's great.
Really quick, my wife is at work, but she knows what that guy was saying.
Hi,
Show
Sarah.
me the money. Christian, you're in. Alan, there's Sarah at work. She's working a double today, so she's only gone for about 20 hours. So
only 20.
Yeah, she's nuts.
Only 20.
Yeah. So
and then she'll make up 5-course meal afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you don't keep this girth on cereal alone. Okay.
Paul will eat 6 of those courses.
Yeah. Hey. It works.
A way.
Oh my God. And Rick agrees with you. And then G-Force is smart enough to everybody say hi to Paul's wife, because she will hunt you down. Alan, although not quite this bad, because she is a little sassy. I saw hints of a little girl that you may or may not be raising. What did you think of this scene?
Well, she's nothing like my kid.
No,
kid's nice and sweet.
I meant more of the like sure of herself type of thing.
Oh yeah, sure, she's confident. Yeah, you see, little Leia. You know what I mean? Like you see it there, and yeah, I got the same thing. I was wondering. Here's my thing. I was always wondering if Leia had Force sensitivity as well, and actually, I don't know. You know, like if you asked me that question, does Leia could she use the Force? I don't know, but it seemed like it to me, because she's like reading his mind basically and like sensing his weaknesses, and then just. I thought that was kind of cool. I'm like, damn, she tore him down a piece. Plus, I didn't like that other kid. So
I hated that little bastard. He was like one of our cousins. So
he did a good job.
He did an excellent job. Yeah. I had to stop it and walk away from it, because I was like, it's not a secret. Alan and I have had little girls. His is significantly younger than mine. But, when you see little girls that are being raised properly and able to take care of themselves and then do this, it's like, this is a really cool scene. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overly Alan, we're going to stick with you.
You know what? You mentioned this. I don't remember this scene.
Oh, because by now you're completely glazed over. There's no lightsabers.
There's no lightsabers. There are no stormtroopers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll switch up to Christian. You just had a young man there. What did you get anything out of this scene?
That sounded a little bit weird. Yes, I've just had a son.
Yes.
But yeah. When I was looking at this, Yeah, let's not go there.
I'm so naive for being such an asshole sometimes. Sorry. Anyway, go.
So yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier to you. For me, this felt like Fired Rock. Mufasa talking to Simba. It was words of wisdom. It was sort of saying that he understands, why you're doing things, but life isn't this straightforward. It was a really nice moment, and I felt like this was quite poignant and significant, and they did well to do it so quickly.
Yes, you look at how they're portraying Bale here, and I have a much greater appreciation for what Jimmy Smith is doing with the character and how they've developed him here. Bailey, before I move on to the next shot, I tend to forget that just because you're young enough to be my daughter, that you still can have an opinion about this relationship here. What did you think of this?
I love this. I like that, that she does have that insecurity of just like Leia's clearly aware that she's not their birth child.
Right.
But this was just so good for her to hear that, yes, you are an Organa, you are my daughter. But I just found it was very sweet, incredibly sweet. And in the lore, they do delve into, their relationship, like what Leia's childhood was like. And it just hits more just knowing what is to come, like later down the road. So I thought this was a great scene.
Agree. It's not, and like I said, it's nice to get a good mix of what Alan's looking for, plus some relief from the darkness and a little bit of this, I gotta go get a glass of water, hold on, type of stuff. So yeah.
This is when I checked back in.
Give it away now. Yeah. Whose idea was it to put Flea in my Star Wars? Bailey, you're the youngest among us. I've known this band since they were a local band, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What did you know who this was, Bailey? What did you think of it if you did, and do you care?
I just knew he was a bad person with bad intentions. But yeah, besides that, whatever.
Besides that, nothing. Christian, do you know this is? What did you think of it?
To be honest, I didn't recognize him until you mentioned it earlier. I've got to be honest, but I did feel his outfit a little bit jarring. I was looking at him here, and it felt a little bit like someone from the production crew was just leaning against the tree, and they sort of flung the camera around.
The first thing I thought was, oh, he must have gone to the same store Lando goes to. Right. Alan, come on, man. Red Hot Chili Peppers Flea. What did you think of this? Did you know who he was?
Yeah, well, of course, yeah, instantly. My thing is again, going off of what you just said, I didn't like the outfit. The outfit offended me. It's offensive. It reminded me of the guys, the Hot Topic kids that were in Boba Fett. That were outside with the limbs and everything with their fake arms and shit. Right. I didn't like this. You know what I mean? Like, this is you've overdone it now. But I tried to get myself out of that. I'm like, you know what though? I don't know anything about this character. So maybe he's from a weird planet where they do this. They have, you know what I mean? I was just trying to get into it, give him a chance. Right. And then what ensued from here on? Because Flea is not known for his acting skills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true.
But it wasn't my jam, but it was fine. It was it was over quick enough. So
right. So I will tell you, a lot of people in the comments are pointing out Flea's played a lot of small roles in like Back to the Future, Point Break, and some other stuff. So I wasn't too upset with his acting. It's just that I've known this guy since I was 16 years. I've been in this fight since I was 16 years old, Christian. And and he's the bass player. And I was like, it's not in my stuff. But his acting was okay. But like you guys, I was like, whoa, with the shirt. That blends right into the forest. But anyway.
Yeah.
A lot of people. But I wasn't going to touch on this, but a lot of people are talking about it. I wasn't too upset about it, but the chase with the two adults and the kid, Bailey, it was almost like the mod chase through it's like they can't catch the kid. What did you think, Bailey?
Yeah, I think they could have left that out or at least shorten it a little bit. They could have just cut away to her just getting captured. I mean, if a 10-year-old little girl can outrun 3 grown people, I'm concerned. I would not hire you. Like,
Josh, Christian, sorry, I'm going to keep doing that. Christian, how about you, man?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind being associated with Josh.
Right.
Exactly that. I was angry at myself for thinking this chase is a little bit awkward.
Yeah.
They could have filmed it in such a different way. They could have been much tighter in on her, but they kept doing these wide shots where it like showed her going through between two tree trunks that they could have gone around.
Yeah.
I was waiting for a guy to like walk by with some glass with tape going across it. He like throws like a thing of peaches.
And earlier on, they did this earlier on when the Jedi, I don't think we found out what his name was, but when the Jedi came out of the saloon, he like dropped the curtains or something and like and ran off, and it was like these chases are a little bit awkward. Like let's sort that out, guys.
Right. Yeah. So I agree with you guys. Cool. We might need to work on the chases just a little bit, but at least this one was better than the mod thing, which I just couldn't stand to look at.
Right.
Yes.
What helped me on this, and go back and watch it again. The actress that's playing the green character is deliberately running like a lizard. If you look at her, go back and look at it's. So I'm like, all right, well, at least they're trying to, they're all in on this. Good for them. So yeah, Steve-O, those damn branches and leaves. Oh yeah, I wonder if they were trying to show how good Leo was ducking under big logs like in Return of the Jedi. I don't think it was Sergeant Jen. I don't think it was that well thought out. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, well we're on to the part where this was actually supposed to come next. Let me do this first. Okay, so they kidnap Leia, and we get the Jedi FaceTime on the little thing that he's still holding because no one would be able to track that in the future and find out where he is. I guess they don't work like these cell phones do, but we'll leave that out. Bailey, as we started getting into this scene, what did you think of it, and what's going through your head?
I thought this was great. I was really excited at the idea of Obi-Wan having to protect Leia, or have something to do with Leia. I thought I was really excited for that, and I think this was just so beautifully done. Like how Obi-Wan reacted and spoke was realistic to me, and I saw that one coming. It's tragic. He's clearly a very broken person who is just so afraid of leaving Luke, and he's just kind of have a one-track mind of I must protect Luke. I can't do anything else. I need to stay out of everything. Like just nope, this is what I must do. And I really just like just how much the Organas like really tried to like tap into that General Kenobi that they know from back in the day. So I really did enjoy this scene, and I just love it. Obi-Wan having to go and protect Anakin's daughter this time around. So I thought that was great.
Nice. Alan, I'd like to go down to you as the third party on this one. Ewan put a heck of a performance into this scene. What did you get out of what was going through his mind and what his thought process and motivations were on this one, Alan? Or did you care?
Blacked out completely. Blacked out. Just completely like unapologetically.
Oh, you're not kidding. Okay, all right, cool. Yeah.
Didn't give a shit.
See, this is why it's important to have someone who watches a TV show and pretends like it's just a TV show, because this is almost like a religion for the other three of us, Alan. Right. So I appreciate it. Thank you for your. I'm
like, where's
can we get on? Yeah,
yeah.
Okay, Christian, you got to save me, brother. What's going through his head, and what about his motivations here, man?
So at the time that I was watching this, seeing Bale pleading, for him to come and help, I found myself seriously disappointed in Obi-Wan.
Yes, thank you.
I was really sort of frustrated, and I was almost a little bit angry. And then sort of, as soon as that sort of emotion goes, and you realize you're watching the TV, I thought to myself, this is fantastic acting. Like I associate Obi-Wan with honor and integrity, and he wants to make the world a better place, and for me to be sat here watching this character and feeling disappointed in him, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, not fantastic because he's refused to go and save the little girl, obviously, but I thought it was brilliantly portrayed. And again, I mentioned it earlier, you saw that he was hating himself for making these decisions and saying this stuff. And I think that's clever filmmaking, because we as the audience know that he's not making these decisions because he's an asshole. He's making these decisions because there is a greater good, or there is a higher power that he needs to worry himself about. And you can see that in his performance. You know, I don't know if I'm looking into it too much, but I swear Ewan is that good that you can look into his face and you can see this conflict. I thought it was brilliant.
You know, going off of that, in the last season we were watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, in that last thing that we watched. We were watching Boba Fett.
Yeah,
they beat him down so much, like throughout the whole thing. You know, he was like just constantly getting his butt kicked. I do remember during that part after he decided not to help, you know, and it's like it's not my issue. It was sort of like I felt like, God damn, they're really going to dig into this with this, you know, they're going to really beat Obi-Wan Kenobi down as well, you know, and just and they kind of did for a little bit. However, I'm glad that they didn't stay on it for as long. It wasn't like, you know, 8 episodes of it. It was like, you know, a good 8 minutes of it. You know what I mean? It was definitely hard to watch the hero act that way, you know.
Bailey, the amount of time that they spent showing us that Obi-Wan Kenobi has become clearly a broken and disappointed man, was the appropriate amount of time too long or too short?
I think it's fine, to the point. And that's what I've been preaching about since I started doing these breakdowns, is get to the point. And as Alan was saying, at this point too, you want to make sure you keep the people who are not as religious as we are about Starbucks. And I said Starbucks. Oh my God. I said Star Wars. Maybe that's what I really want.
No judgment here. No judgment here. Yeah.
Well, I don't drink, so mine is maybe I'm just delirious. But anyway, I think it's perfect because you want to keep your audience engaged, and you don't want to keep with the talk. It was exactly what I was saying about the Inquisitors. You need to have those slow moments, those talking moments, to get background as to what is the action to come. But you can't dwell on it too much. And it's just like, as Alan was saying, you don't need 8 episodes of feeling sorry for ourselves and the bullying. You don't need that. Get to the damn point and keep it moving. We only have 6 episodes here, and a little girl needs to be saved, so we need to keep on moving. So no, I think they're doing a great job with this, because again, you want to keep not only us engaged, but you want to keep people like Alan engaged, and they needed to shut up and keep it going. So yes.
Yeah. So I've mentioned this several times before. I've known Alan his whole life, and when he says he blacked out during a scene, he's not exaggerating. He's like, oh.
Yeah, completely like, yep. No, I do. Now that we've like gotten, because I don't remember, like looking at the still, it's hard for me to remember the moment and the thing, you know, in the actual show. Right. However, I do remember thinking like, yeah, this is tough. He's really just checked out, because right after that, he's cutting sushi, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he went right back to work. Yeah, he went right back to work. Yeah. Bailey, I'm going to go right back to you, because this is your scene. This is your jam. We know that Bale comes to the planet. We'll skip over that because we're already in an hour and we have a whole nother episode to go. But I want Bailey, how did you feel when you saw this?
Oh, I loved it. This was so nice to see. And I think it's interesting that he buried them too. He just really wanted to be done with it. But you can still see there's the old part of him. Like, if he really hated that part of his life, he would have just, chucked these lightsabers like Luke did in, episode 8, or just, bury them without a box. But you can clearly tell, lightsabers are so important to a Jedi. They call it an extension of themselves. It's their life. And the fact that he put his lightsaber with Anakin's together in a box nicely, despite everything that's happened, just shows that the old Obi-Wan that we know is still inside. And him going back for these lightsabers just shows that he has decided, you know what, I'm going to quit feeling sorry for myself for a second and do the right thing. And that's very Jedi, to just, kind of put your selfish, desires and thoughts aside to do the right thing. And I loved it. And I guarantee you Disney is going to probably sell lightsabers just like this in this box for $500 or something like that. So I thought of that too, merchandising.
Bailey, you've been hanging out with us too long. You're getting pragmatic, because that's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, look at this. Christian, you're a little bit older like me. Not anywhere close, but older than Bailey. When you saw this throwback to these lightsabers, is this something that excited you?
It did. It did. Like, I was excited. I liked the build up to this. Obviously, it was just shots of him wandering around on is it pronounced the Opie or Opie, whatever it is, the camel.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
So we had a lot of shots of that, and I quite enjoyed that because it was like maybe 3 or 4 shots, and there were these strings, and it all felt very sort of lost and hopeless. And then obviously we realised that he's effectively getting to X marks the spot to dig this up. The only thing is, like, my critical self looking at it was thinking, what happens if he's at Lars Homestead and he sees the Inquisitors walking up to knock on Luke's door? Does he then have to get on the camel to sort of arc his way across the dunes, dig up his lightsaber to make his way back? You know, like. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm just not sure how practical it was.
I thought he was going to have him in a box in his homestead too. So this was still cool, but you're absolutely correct. Question from Jonathan: was that the same box that Anakin's saber was in A New Hope? Do either of you guys know? I know Alan don't know because I don't.
No,
Any
but
idea?
it could be. I mean, a box is a box.
Yeah, yeah, right. I'd buy those 2 sabers before the third sister saber for 500. Yeah, we won't get into that about the new HasLab, but they're just pissed at us. I think sometimes. I don't know. We'll move on. And then, of course, really quick, we'll just point this out. They figure out who Flea is working for. Turns out it's Reva, who doesn't do anything she's told, and good for her because, as Bailey put it, she's the only one getting anything done. Yeah, there you go. Get shit done. I love it, Bailey. Bailey, right back to you. This is the closest we have seen Ewan in his clothes start to look like Alec Guinness in A New Hope. Do you agree with me? And what did you think of that?
Absolutely. I think Ewan is doing a wonderful job showing us that transition from who he was in the prequels to who he's going to be in A New Hope, and just his mannerisms and some of the lines he says, you know, when he gets caught, like, what are you doing back here? Oh, I just lost my way. Like, just like aloof and sarcastic. Like, I think he's great. And this is exactly like what I love about this show is not only does it tap into younger people like me who really enjoy the prequels, but like people who love the originals so much. Like that connection, what they're doing with this show is a beautiful job, that transition. So I love this.
Bailey, you can just say it. They're pleasing young people like me and old farts like you, Paul. It's okay. You can say it.
Well, there are people who love the originals who are my age, so I guess that's why I should do a better job with that. But yeah.
Fair enough. Alan, I'd like to go down to you just to see, are you catching any of these parallels between the way Ewan is portraying this character to try and meld the 3 or the 2 timelines at all?
Yeah, because it just based off what Bailey just said, like the originals is what I was into. I didn't really watch all that stuff that came out in the thousands. Like for the most part, I barely paid attention. So seeing him, you know, kind of bridge this gap back to like what I recognize as Obi-Wan Kenobi is cool for me. You know, like I do dig that. You know, doing it subtly enough too, where you can just kind of pick up on tones of it. Very cool.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. They're not beating us over the head with it. It seems gradual and organic, right, Alan?
Yeah. Yep.
Bailey, I see you nodding your head.
Absolutely. And that's how it should be done, by the way, organically.
Fair enough. Christian. Okay. I got lots of questions here. First of all, I love Tamora. For those of us that pay attention, this guy is wearing 501st armor. This is Anakin's unit. Christian, is this Rex in disguise? What's going on here? Did he recognize Obi-Wan? What did you think? Did you get excited? Go, brother. Just like the Darth Vader question last time.
I mean, I just assumed that this was just a random veteran clone sat on the sidewalk. I didn't think it was anything beyond that, to be honest.
Okay.
I did love the juxtaposition of a clone sat there begging, a Jedi feeling compelled to give, and then stormtroopers walking past. Like, so much going on in that. You know, I thought that it was brilliant and entirely, again, believable. And I just wanted to mention, like, I loved the fact that this place felt so much like Blade Runner / Fifth Element, you know, like it looked so exciting visually.
I agree. A lot of people are saying it looked like that live action show that never got off the ground, the under levels of Coruscant. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. Bailey, I see you nodding your head. Were you getting that same vibe from this place?
Oh yeah, I even like when I was watching, I was like, are we on Coruscant? No, because they clearly said a different name before. So yeah, that's what I thought of.
Well, you know what, G-Force, no one's going to give you a hard time here today because I would love to see Rex running around in, undercover, trying to do what he can. So that's what I thought initially, Christian, that this was just like, oh, that's a cool nod. And they let Tomorrow was on scene that day. So they're like, here, put this beard on and sit here. Bailey, do you think this is going to be more than what we saw?
Oh, possibly, because I remember in the trailers, it looked like there was something going on with a 501st Trooper, if I remember correctly. But this could just be a quick slap in the face and be done. It can go either way. Again, I'm going into this with no expectations, no theories, no nothing.
Agree. A lot of people, for the most part, don't think it's Rex. And I'll tell you, I think the more I think about it, that you guys are right. He's wearing 501st armor. So I think that's just meant to be as a shock to Obi-Wan's system, because that's Anakin's troopers. You're like, oh, there's one of them right there. Let me just give this guy some money. So, okay. Alan, we're going to you. I loved this little guy, and I hope this isn't, you don't take this as an insult, because but it's not meant to be. This little dude, yeah, okay, too late. You're already offended. This dude reminds me of you, because we had to get out and start hustling in our lives because of whatever. But he's out there getting it done. He's got street smarts. He's intelligent. He's sassy. He's not intimidated. And I'm like, this little dude is Alan. Did you see this guy that way? And what did you think of him?
I didn't see any of myself.
Too bad.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I thought it was cool. Just it was just cool. Just the whole scene, I can show you where whatever. What was he saying again? I can show you. I know where a Jedi is. That's what he said. Yeah,
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't pick up anything personal on it. I was just interested in seeing where this was going to go. The whole next scene, I thought, was just Well,
let's just get to it.
Yeah,
yeah. So we knew this guy was coming. He's a popular comedic actor. I did not like his performance in the Eternals. I'll just throw it out there. Christian, let's go up to you. What did you think of this comic relief guy?
I thought it was great. I don't know this guy, if I'm honest with you. I felt like I might have seen him in something before. Don't shoot me if he's huge. But I loved his performance. Initially, I was really concerned about the fact that this guy is exploiting people the way that he is. But then I I started to believe that he is legitimately helping people. He's just going about it in a bit of a weird way, if you will, assuming that that mother and child did get away safely, which he insinuates they did. Right. But yeah, the whole eyebrow thing, the humor, the magnets, everything about it was hilarious, and it was welcomed, because at this point, it was kind of, I was excited to see where we were going. So this was welcomed comedic relief, and I liked the fact that we were in on the joke with Ewan.
Right. Yeah. Bailey, a little bit of comic relief where we're at right here, and the way they did it. What did you think?
Yeah, I was all right with it. I think at this point I was like moving along, and I was just really but it was fine. I just don't have much feeling about it. It was just like, great, this is exactly what Obi-Wan would want to see, is his entire race of people, and then he's upset because of that, and now you have this fool making a joke out of it, and so yeah, but it's whatever. Just moving along. That's my attitude towards this. It's just like, whatever.
So the fun thing about having the three of you on here is how depending on the topic, it rotates depending on who's like I could have done without this person this time. So it's not the same person every time. It's really cool. Oh man, what did Josh say? That in the end he did show he was kind of a hero of sorts. But I think Christian's right, and Bailey, you have a good point. He's trading on that Jedi name to get money, but he's not actually hurting people. He's just probably charging them way more than he should. So yeah. And Jonathan didn't feel that it was out of place. I agree. We'll skip that. We know Obi-Wan goes undercover and to the meth lab or whatever that was.
A little Breaking Bad moment.
The Breaking Bad. Yeah. So if there's any military members, he's got a piece of a military mask and regular skiing goggles on. So for me, it was a little jarring to begin with. But yeah, Sergeant Jen, that's what I was talking about. That Hedgie Estrie or whatever his name was. He was one of the Eternals, and I hated that character and I hated that movie. But anyway, Alan, the how Ewan did the fight scene and interacting with these two thugs from a layman's movie perspective. What did you think?
I thought it was cool that they took into consideration the fact that he hasn't been fighting for a while, and he's a little out of touch with it. So He still handled himself pretty well, though. I mean, all things considered, still not using the Force here, and but this guy here with the horns that you can't see it in this shot here, but
right,
he's like the same race as
Darth Maul.
And I thought that was kind of like that I noticed. I was like, those guys look exactly the same. It's just the paint is different. Is that supposed to be their skin, or do they literally paint themselves like that?
Bailey?
Just they just come out with different
skin. I don't think they're tattoos.
Okay.
I don't think so.
It's got to be some sort of natural marking, surely. I can't picture them every day, sort of
every day.
No, I think it's natural. I could be wrong, though. I'm sure somebody will tell me that.
So I thought that their facial tattoo, they come out different colors, just like many other races to include humans. But I thought that the markings on them, those are tattoos, though. I'm pretty sure. And Darth Maul, because he was black, got red Sith tattoos. This guy's white, so he got darker ones, I think. I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong, Al. Bailey, are you happy with how Obi-Wan is still he's kind of fighting like a street thug now instead of like a Jedi, and obviously we know why. But what did you think of it?
I thought it was good. It makes perfect sense, and it was like we were saying with the pre-show, is he is not going to use his powers, and we see this later, until he absolutely has no choice. So I do like that, and this is very true to what we see with Jedi during this time period, is they are not going to show who they are because they have a very clear understanding that people are out there to kill them. And if they even show their power just a little bit, that might be a death sentence right there. So this makes perfect sense. Agree.
Christian, from the fight choreography compared to what we saw in Book of Boba Fett, better, worse, the same?
I really enjoyed it. What I enjoyed about this was it felt like a believable scrap. It didn't feel fantastical in any way. It felt like an old bloke having a fist fight with a couple of blokes who were probably a little bit faster than him. And particularly, he hurts his hand, doesn't he? Now I thought that he hurt his hand by hitting him, and it was like, ow, that hurt. But you were saying that he might have clocked one of the horns. So yeah, either way.
The Zabraks have temple horns, and if you go back and watch the footage closely, he goes kapow right onto his temple horn. It's like, oh, that hurt. So
right.
It's the little details like that, Bailey, that are just dragging me into this series.
I'm glad I have you, Paul.
I noticed all the stupid stuff. Really quick, since Sergeant Jen is here, I'm sure that they noticed it as well. If we go all the way back to Tatooine before he digs up his lightsabers, that shovel he's using that he folds out and screws down, that is an absolutely unchanged, unedited, unmodified army entrenching tool. I saw that and I was like, I have one of those in my garage. It's awesome. Bailey, right back to you, ma'am. Obi-Wan goes to the door where Leia is behind, in a cell. And I'm like, wow, we've seen this in Detention Block 1138 before. Yeah. But what did you think of this?
I thought this was so great. First of all, the whole parallel to what we'll see later in A New Hope is great. But this was just so hilarious to me. And I have to say, a lot of people like to compare Leia to Padme, but I have to say this is clearly Anakin's kid with the constant, everything's a fight. She's feisty. She wants to get stuff done. Like he probably felt that, even though he didn't say it. He was probably like, God, yeah, this is his kid for sure. But I thought this was great. Everything about this was fantastic. I loved it.
Excuse me. Alan, were you expecting her to be waiting on the other side of the door and to kick Obi-Wan in the crotch and take off like that?
No, not at all. No. It was kind of cool. That was a cool little scene.
Fair enough. So really quick, the goggles and the mask didn't bother me either. But when I saw that shovel, I'm like, I have that in my garage. Come on. So yeah, I agree with you guys. It's awesome. Christian, I love what they're doing with little Leia here, and to see her showing signs of being the princess we know in 9 years her time. How are you feeling about it, man?
Yeah, this was, I found this all really exciting because it was kind of two things at once. Not only are we seeing like the comedic value of like the old guy trying to get the little girl to sort of behave, but also we're seeing her showing and demonstrating to us what a warrior she is even now. It really helps solidify why we feel the way we do about her later on in the story, and why she gets to where she gets to.
Yes. And here's the part that was incredibly important to me. They didn't show that despite the fact that she's confident and sassy and outgoing Christian, they didn't make her invulnerable. What did you think of this when she saw that monster?
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. It's kind of like it was a bit of a grounding moment for her, because yes, she is this sort of, she has this warrior spirit, but she is still literally a princess. You know, she is still protected by these guards that are running around after her. She thinks that she's running around on her own, but she isn't. You know, right behind her are 6 armed guards, you know, in plain clothes. And this is the first time she's in the big wide world, and this is literally eye-opening to her. And this little dynamic in the street scene was wonderful. You know, the whole sort of realization, okay, I do need this guy's help, and then this sort of the whole, you know, you're going to pretend to be my daughter, granddaughter, more like. I loved all that stuff. You know, it was perfect delivery. It didn't feel jarring. I wasn't taken out of it. I was enjoying it.
Bailey, what did you think of what was going on here with all these street scenes?
Oh, I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Just like, you know, I think all kids, I see it a lot as a teacher. These kids talk a big game, but the moment, you know, somebody like puts their foot down or they come across something that does frighten them, then they're a kid again. So I thought this was really great. Yeah, poor Obi-Wan.
Alan, are they making this kid believable for you, or is she too powerful or not powerful enough?
Well, I mean, it's Leia, so you know it's believable, but it makes sense that she would be this way. But it was kind of a cool moment there where she stopped and was like, "Okay, well, the real world is scary. That's scary instantly, you know."
Right? I
fast.
I forgot the actress's name. She's been in one other thing, but they could not have cast a younger Leia any better, if you ask me. So, Alan, I want to stick with you. I need you to explain this to me. What? And Bailey's kind of touched on it, but there's got to be something deeper here. What is she so pissed off at Obi-Wan for that she's willing to just completely ignore the boss? And what did you think of this dynamic, the whole 2 episodes between these two?
Well, yeah, I think they're setting it up for something, you know, and I guess we'll get into this in a little bit because these two get into a bit of a conflict here. Yeah. So I think that's going to come back again and again as episodes continue on. But I think she's just basically establishing herself as independent, you know, and kind of on her own path, you know, with her own mission and her own agenda. And it has, you know, she doesn't really care about what's going on with the Inquisitors. She's got her own personal thing happening, which is cool. It's nice to see that, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know with Kenobi though. I don't specifically know, but yes, there's definitely it makes sense that she was there during that whole Order 66 thing, and she has some PTSD that she's dealing with from that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of conjecture. Bailey, your lightsaber wielders, that's your jam. What do you think is going on? Alan made some very good points. She's just in the Inquisitors means to an end. What do you think? And are you enjoying this dynamic?
I love this. Like I said, she reminds me so much of Trilla from Fallen Order, where she doesn't really care about the Inquisitorious goals as a whole. She like has her own agenda and her own reasoning for doing things, and needless to say, she gets stuff done. This scene frustrates the hell out of me because I don't understand why Reva is doing exactly what they want. They want to pinpoint the location of certain Jedi, and she has Obi-Wan's ass like right there. Like she's getting stuff done, and yet she is like being like berated and punished and being called trash and like, but she's doing exactly what they want. So I don't know if it's just a sexist organization or what, but I can't help but notice that it's always the ladies that are being slandered when they're doing exactly what they're required to do. She's doing more. She's getting Obi-Wan, someone they have not caught in 10 years, so close. And she does get to him pretty close. And yet they're like, you need to go in timeout. Like, shut up. Like, this whole time I was watching, I was like, this dude needs to shut up. I don't know why he's the Grand Inquisitor, because as someone who has also seen Rebels, besides killing Luminara, maybe, what has he done? He sucks. And yet he's in charge. She should be the Grand Inquisitor. She probably would get more shit done and probably had all the Jedi eliminated by this point because she's just getting stuff done. And what I love about her is even after this, she's still not done. She's going to put a broadcast and be like, you are here. Find him. Like, I love her. I think she's fantastic. And I thank you. I will preach. This is why I'm here. I am here to defend my ladies. So, yeah.
I love it, Bailey. That's an excellent description. The only one getting anything done. She's making the rest of them look bad. So it reminds me.
Maybe that's why they're upset. Yeah.
Get it, Bailey.
I will.
Here we go. I want to take a quick moment. Kristen, I want to get your thoughts on this dynamic, and then we'll move them. But really quick, I want to acknowledge someone. This is Simon Farrell, fellow United Kingdom helmet collector. We never get to see him because he's over there with you, but he and I love his helmet collection. I'm a huge fan of Simon, but I was blown away by the realization of Alderaan looked just like I envisioned it as a kid in 1980 while listening to the Star Wars radio dramatization. Very enjoyable. I liked it. Simon, thank you for stopping by, man. It's good to see you. We have a lot of fun here, as you can tell. And every now and then, if I do it just right, I can get Bailey wound up, and it gets really good. So,
yeah, you guys have no idea. You should see me in the classroom.
Bailey for president. Bailey is right. The characteristics of the Sith don't work well as a team. That's a good point. And yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm not here to argue with you, Bailey. Yeah, you already learned it. Not yeah.
You learned the hard way, sir.
Call me a Sith one more time, Josh. Call me a no.
I would 0 out of 10 recommend doing that again.
Yeah, I was like, they're really. She's actually angry. Oh my God, hold on. Christian, let's move on to you. What you've heard how Alan has characterized it, which I thought was actually very insightful. Bailey's made some excellent points. Christian, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I really like Reva's character. It's just a couple of times I felt pulled out of it, you know. But I've got some ideas of where I think her character might go. So I think we'll probably touch on that in predictions later on. But specifically, this dynamic, I find it a little bit awkward because I feel like the Inquisitors are supposed to be this terrifying threat to everybody. And I feel like this sort of bickering between them almost sort of knocks it down. It
makes them lame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I kind of feel as though we're supposed to accept that is exactly what's supposed to be happening here. Obviously, there was the lines, I can't remember verbatim what was said, but there were the lines that were like, remember that you're only here because of this, that, and the other. You're from somewhere else. Like
from the gutter.
From the gutter, right. Okay, so she is basically there for different reasons or somehow. And they're letting her know that. So I think that there's a complete mashup here of probably jealousy of the fact that she is able to get things done. There's probably envy for her level of control or power, maybe, you know, and these other guys that have been in it for longer, they resent her for that. I feel like there's going to turn out to be some sort of relationship between her and Anakin that they're also very envious of. And yeah, I mean, I'm getting into predictions again, but yeah, I like it. I'm excited, but I kind of wish there would be less of the bickering. To be fair, judging by what happens at the end of this episode, there probably won't be that much bickering.
We're going to touch on that because there's some timeline issues with what's going on here. So, John, we're going to stick with you because when I saw this, I mean, we saw it in the trailers. I don't care. When we saw it in the show, I was like, this is my jam. It's my people. I love it. What did you think of these stormtroopers, man?
Are you still talking to me? Sorry.
No question. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Loved it. This is what I mean about how, you know, I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner. I'm a big fan of Fifth Element. This felt like we were in a legitimately alien world that, although we've seen places like this insinuated before, this felt so far away from Tatooine, which I was saying last week. I really want us to get off Tatooine and seeing this sort of a cityscape and seeing Imperial troopers walking around, like this was exciting. And obviously to be headed up by that Inquisitor, you can just see his hat just coming out of shot. This was exciting. And this is what I mean about how I feel like the Inquisitors should be this terrifying organization that they're marching around. They're killing people off. They're dragging people out of their homes. They're not having arguments in the middle of the street.
Right. Alan, do you know what these guys are and where they're from?
A little bit. See them here and there.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Mildly familiar.
Mildly, yeah. Maybe, just maybe, if you look in my background here, that might help a little bit.
Oh, that is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah. Simon, Obi-Wan's reaction to hearing Anakin was still alive was awesome. We're gonna get to that. And Vader popping his eyes open and back to tank. Oh man, talking about a way to go out. We're getting season 2 of the Mandalorian vibes again. We're definitely gonna get there. Thanks for weighing in on that, Simon. I thought of you when I saw this, Bailey. It seems like in every Star Wars we have to go to the roofs. Did that bother you here, or were you cool with it?
I mean, I knew a roof was going to be involved, from the trailers, and yeah. I mean, is it really Star Wars if we have an unnecessary roof scene or a chase scene? I don't know. I was fine with it though. I mean, Leia's being a little shit right now, so she would.
Right. She's so the opposite of Omega to me. I actually enjoyed this. Christian, are you enjoying watching?
I do enjoy her, yes. Yeah.
How about you, Christian?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Again, it felt very sort of realistic. It felt very Star Wars. And yeah, I mean, I think we were very lucky that those rooftops were as close as they were. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was exciting.
Great. Yeah. So a lot of it's predictable Star Wars, or some of it, and a lot of it's kind of like, I don't want to use the word cliche, but close. But they're doing it in such a fashion that I'm really enjoying it. So I don't have any complaints. So, Alan, let's move over to you. And a G-Force hits it. Okay, so she sees
where the parkour happens.
Yeah, she sees, like 10 minutes later, the episode's still going on, and she's flipping through. And does this bother you? What did you think of this? Maybe by now I was so like equivocal on this character that I couldn't. I don't know. What did you think, Alan?
You know what? They do this in it was a Jedi. It's one of the video games, Unleashed, Force Unleashed. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is actually like a call to that. Like they're just, because you do this in the game, so maybe they're just like, yeah, this is what Jedis do, or not Jedis, but she would be a Sith, right? She is Sith?
Close enough. She's of the Sith order. Yeah,
got it.
Alan, when I picked this scene specifically because she runs along this thing she's put down, and rather than just jump from there to the next thing, she does this whee backflip thing and all this other stuff. It's like the guy that was spinning around in Book of Boba Fett. None of that bothered you, Alan? Or were you cool with it?
I've accepted the work harder, not smarter approach, where she could have just read Owen's mind. Why not just force push this thing down and do a flippity flop? Why not? This is where the parkour happens.
Okay, all right, fair enough. So you just at this point you're disengaged a little bit of your critical mind. You're like, out of heck with it. It's just
I
fun.
will accept what you give me. Yeah.
Christian, up to you. Is that an acceptable premise? I will just accept what you give me on this and enjoy it. Or what did you think of the parkour?
Visually, I really enjoyed it. Taking away sort of the practicalities of it, I really enjoyed the way this works. Just before this happens, she does this really weird sort of feral move where she uses like all 4 limbs, and it almost looks like a cat, like Catwoman vibes. And I really quite enjoyed that. This sort of this maneuvering that we don't see so much. It didn't feel human. And then the sort of the flip. That took me out of it, and I immediately thought of the slow motion spin in Book of Boba Fett, where they showed a couple of different angles and he slowly turned around. Yeah, when I saw that, it sort of took me out. But aside from that, I really enjoyed the rest of it. I thought it was great.
The comments are awesome. G4, just force pull that little brat to you at this point. They're on to you, bro. Yeah. And then Smirking Bear. Flippity flop is an acceptable term to describe this. Thank you, Smirking Bear. I appreciate that. She does a little flippity flop at the end there. Oh my God. I got a kick out of that. Bailey, up to you, ma'am. I know the wizards are your jam. Did this affect you in any way? The first time he used his oh crap. hold on. Sorry about that. The first time he used his, I know. I'm just
How unprofessional. Shut it down.
I know. Hold on. Do that and do this and put it on vibrate. Sorry, let me do that. So since Celebration happened, there's obviously all the collecting booths. I got friends over there that are like, hey, check this out. Hey, check this out. New helmet. But that's another story. But anyway, Bailey, ignore the fact that I have a reflection of my air conditioning vent in his head. First time he's used the Force in 10 years that we know of. The look on his face, it looks like he stepped on a nail, for God's sakes. But in all seriousness, there was a lot of weight to this scene, I think, or did you think? What, Christian, shut up. We're serious. This is a serious scene, you guys. Go, Bailey.
This is one of my favorite scenes in both episodes because of just the volume, the weight that this scene carries. This is clearly from the look on his face. I mean, it looks like it's incredibly painful what he's doing. He's really having to tap in and use something he has not used in a long time, which I guess it's no different than, like, you know, if you haven't like driven a car in forever or something, you kind of forget. But he's having like no time to do that because Leia is falling to her death, and if he doesn't do something, well, then he's failed the mission. And but I love this scene. This is exactly what we were saying in the pre-show, that he is not going to use the Force or his lightsaber until he absolutely has to, and that was that moment. Like, he has to do this or Leia will die, and that cannot happen. So I thought this was beautiful. We as the audience are like, yes, this is what we want to see. But then as soon as Leia gets down and you have all these pedestrians that just witness that, you know, like, oh shit, Obi-Wan's in trouble now.
Well, Josh is making a good point that I didn't pick up on. It's like all those people, like, they were looking like they had just witnessed a miracle. And he's like, they almost look hopeful again. I didn't even catch that. That's a good catch, Josh. Christian, what did you think of the Obi-Wan with the chip in his head scene? Sorry, I didn't mean to make levity out of it.
Sorry, I was being incredibly unprofessional there because I think that still has meme written all over it, you know.
Yeah, it really does, yeah. Somebody's going to take that out of context for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I know what I'm about to say is pretty horrible, but I kind of was in a position whereby I was watching it and I was excited. I wanted it to fail. I didn't want him to catch her. I wanted there to be something on the street that she fell into, that she was okay. But like, I quite liked the idea of, you know, he hasn't used the Force in that long, that, you know, he's rusty effectively. And to be fair, we got that because it obviously took him quite a while to catch her. You know, she stopped like 3 feet off the floor, maybe even less. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was on the edge of my seat. It's just that there was this part of me that was obviously willing him to stop her from falling, that there was this real like dark part of me that was like, let's hope that this doesn't work. You know, let's see this build up later on.
Wow, that's an interesting take on that, Christian. Alan, we got lightsabers right now, or soon. We got people shooting at people, droids getting blown off, Alligator Man gets blown off the top of the thing. Leah's falling. Where are you at now in the show, in your head?
When he used the Force, see, I was happy that he used it, and kind of the opposite of what Christian was saying. I was glad that they didn't drag it out. You know, this was where I was like, there we go. Use the Force. But you know, I'm more of like on the side of like just like gritty. I wanted like Vader to show up instantly. You know, as soon as he uses it, I want him zipping into the planet like, you son of a biscuit, and they get right into it. You know, but you lamp liquor. But
we use like boy and girl words on this show.
No, you do, Bailey. The rest of us like, oh my God, Bailey's on fire.
I'm a nice lady.
Yeah.
You know, but I was glad that he used it, and that it got the show moving forward, you know, so we could start seeing some spiciness, you know, with the sabers. So yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was cool.
All right. Well,
however, he, you know, is a grown man. Again, how slippery is Leia? You can't catch it for a kid. Damn, she's like the master of juking.
So the supposition in A New Hope is that the stormtroopers can't hit anything, and then later on, because people with the Force, like in Rogue One, for God's sakes, I am one with the Force is just me. He just walks across for 10 minutes and never gets hit.
Yeah.
Supposition is that if you have the Force, people have a harder time catching
bending the things.
Yeah. And going with that. And Steve-O's on your side. Obi-Wan, you son of a biscuit.
Son of a biscuit. Could you imagine that line? You son of a biscuit.
Oh my God. Oh, you guys crack me up. Alan, it's always a pleasure. Well, Alan, let's stick with you. Turns out he's a good guy. Did this upset you, or were you cool with it?
You know, harkening back to when we first saw this guy, the whole thing was very Scooby-Doo for me, you know, like
Yeah.
they ripped the mask off and they're like, it was the
not a Jedi.
whole time. So I wasn't a fan of this whole thing. I thought it was weird. It was painful watching Obi-Wan Kenobi react to it, you know, because he's such a serious character, like seeing him react to this like lighthearted brevity. I know some people enjoyed it. I didn't like it. So when this guy showed up again, I kind of wanted him to like get, you know, sideways with him so Obi-Wan could, you know, chop his head off or something and be like, yeah, hey, you son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
But you know my point. I'm not a big fan of this guy. So, but I was glad that, okay, cool. You're a good guy. That's kind of nice.
He's going to help.
You know, yeah.
Christian, what are your thoughts about the very quick redemption arc of Nanish, whatever his name was?
Yeah, so I mean, I was kind of in two minds about this. Like, part of me enjoyed the fact that he turned up to be a good guy. At least at this stage, we believe he's a good guy because obviously he sent them off to this transporter that's going to take them here, there, and everywhere. What I found really weird was his delivery back saying that he would help like so quickly.
Yeah, help. All right,
yeah. Don't you think the delivery of that line in itself, like, excuse everything else, like the arc and all the rest of it, the delivery of that line felt a little jarring. Like, it almost felt like they might have cut a load of dialogue out. But yeah, that aside from that, I'm kind of pleased that it turned around and he is a good guy. And I've got to be honest, going back to sort of Rogue One's type feelings, I was hoping that he was going to stand there against Reva and he was going to like build himself up to protect Obi-Wan and sort of try and hold them off, and she was just going to cut him down, literally kill him, boom, not even a consideration. The fact that she sort of toyed with him, put him to the side, spoke to him, and then left him, I was kind of a bit like, that's a bit lame. Like, it would have had so much more shock value. We would have felt so much more for that character if she'd have just cut him down and moved on.
You know, I just going off what you said, Christian, and like kind of going back earlier, I wanted the same thing. I wanted these Inquisitors to be like space Freddy Kruegers that were just killing everyone. You know, like these creepy dudes or whatever, you know, like just something spicy. But they were very, you know, considerate. I was shocked how considerate they were when they started like. I was like, no, I think Reva has the right idea. I thought we were showing up to kick everyone's ass and shoot bubble gum and all that stuff.
Oh, there's that They Live reference. Well, Bailey, why don't you build off what Alan just said? What is your thinking of how they're portraying the Inquisitors, specifically since you and Christian have both seen Rebels? Are they in line with where they should be? Are you happy? Are you upset?
Bailey? I mean, I think they should be. I think they should be like the threat. You know, like Alan was saying, they should be like they should be more threatening. That's why I like Reva and Trilla so much, is they actually are a threat. But I think the reason why the Inquisitors are kind of lame is because they want people to be on the Empire's side. So they want, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if these Inquisitors are, you know, chopping people's hands off, and more people are going to join the Rebel Alliance and, like, you know, stand up there. People already don't like the Empire, but I think there is, like, you know, an image they want to keep, and maybe, you know, Palpatine wants that, is, you know, like, go and do your job and kill the Jedi, but don't be like killing civilians either, because we need them on our side. Like, we need our sheep, you know what I'm saying? So I think, like, that's why they're kind of lame, is they have to keep a certain front, and when people just start, I don't know, being a villain, that's when it becomes a problem. But yeah,
true.
But I wanted to add that I'm about to head on a dinner date here in a little bit, so I think this will be my sign off, and you boys can take over.
Well, Bailey, thank you for taking time out of your vacation and your trip to hang out with, you know, like I said, 3 middle-aged old nerds, and I appreciate it. So no hard feelings now. You go enjoy yourself, and we will see you Wednesday is the next show, everybody. I was going to talk about that program note later, but I have it on good authority. These bounce back to Wednesday. So our next show will be Thursday at noon, 8 UK. But Bailey, you have a good one.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Have fun.
Jonathan made a good point. He says, Alan, Flea got blended by a saber. That's true. That is true. That did happen. You're right.
Oh, okay. So I actually skipped that picture, but there you go.
Yeah, that did happen. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was pretty hardcore.
And it was brutal. You can hear him screaming in the background. I was like, God, all right, I don't want Flea doesn't need a lightsaber up his butt. Good Lord. So.
But I mean, this is kind of what I was saying about the fact that right at the start of the first episode, when we saw Rupert Friend, the Grand Inquisitor, I found him terrifying when he was walking around that saloon, you know, and the way that his eyes moved first and then his head sort of moved, like all of these sort of movements, they really helped me feel scared of this guy. And then as soon as the bickering started, it really just it pushed that back and it sort of softened them slightly. And I don't know, that this sort of, at this stage, it just feels strange.
Yeah, I'm not even, I don't want to say conflicted, but I was hoping they would be more moving around as a cohesive, scary military special forces unit than kind of what we're seeing now. But as Bailey mentioned, it is in line with like everything that these guys are all out for themselves, and they, you know, the Sith fight amongst themselves and everything. So, you know, maybe it's another, I didn't get the Boba Fett I wanted either. So who knows? Yeah. Alan, where did Flea get blended by a lightsaber? Under the bridge downtown. That's where he chews some blood.
That's the truth.
Okay, I won't ever do that again, Christian. Sorry.
Your bank account has been docked $75.
Yeah. just so you know, that's a lie. You know I'm going to do that again at least one more time, Christian.
I'm hoping that that's the last we see of a spinning lightsaber as well, unless we see more of him using it in that fact. Well, you know, maybe we won't, but
yeah, I don't mind spinning this way. As soon as he does this with it, though, and penguins off, we're gonna have a problem. Yeah. Alan, let's go to you, sir. And then, because Christian, I know you know what he's talking about here, and for us, this was a pretty pivotal moment. But when the exchange upstairs, Alan, where Obi-Wan tells little Princess Leia, "Hey, you remind me of somebody," and he's kind of off in his own little world for a minute. First of all, do you know what the reference is there and what's going on? And second of all, whether you do or don't, what did you think of that scene and how Ewan's doing here?
I assumed he was talking about Natalie Portman's character.
Padme, good for you.
Padme.
Yes,
there we go. Yeah. And I thought that was kind of cool. See, I didn't remember much of her character though, because I didn't really dig too deep into those. But yeah, I thought it was nice. It was. I got what they were going for with that.
Okay, Christian, over to you. But first, Sergeant Chen has a question. What's the time difference between Rebels and Obi-Wan Kenobi? Isn't Rebels in like 5 years from now? I think are they right? Christian, do you know?
5. So I think Rebels is set between 5 and 10 years after this. I think.
Okay. Because it is after. It is after.
It is after. Yeah, it is after. So sorry, this particular screenshot, whereabouts are we? Because there were a lot of shots like this at the end.
There really are. So when they first get up and they get off the elevator and he says, "You're stubborn." And she's like, "I am not," and this, that, and the other. And she turns to him and says, "What?" Because he stops and he goes, "Oh, you just remind me of someone."
Yeah,
that's the scene we're talking about here.
Yeah, it was a really touching moment, and it was quite nice. And this is what I was saying about how they bothered to put that really beautiful catch up at the start of the show, and they bothered to show Padme, obviously the funeral procession, and I thought that was a really sort of, it was pivotal because they didn't have to show that. You know, at the end of the day, going into this, we're talking about Anakin and we're talking about Obi-Wan. You know, they could have chopped Padme out of this entirely, but the fact that they showed that I thought was really nice, and the constant sort of mirroring of her in Leia I thought was really nice, because what you got to think is Padme wasn't really part of the story in the original trilogy, you know. Right. So I like the fact that they're pulling in that sequel trilogy and we have these nods to the sequel trilogy. It really feels like they're trying to make this sit in the world or the timeline.
Alan, I know you're not as familiar with all of the trilogies put together, but do you feel like this show is doing a good job of being respectful and paying homage to what we grew up with as kids and then what we got later in the 2000s?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially like even not having gotten into the prequels and stuff like this, I do sense that there, you know, there's a lot of tips of the hat there to that whole generation.
Agree. Yeah, because that's actually a question I was going to ask you, Christian, but you just dovetailed into it nicely. So, unfortunately, Bailey had to leave because I really wanted her thoughts on this. So, Christian, I'm going to lean on you a little bit.
So
Rebel, here we go. Yeah, Bailey leaves, and the three of us are lost now. We're like, I don't know, we're all ignorant.
yeah.
Rebels takes place 5 to 10 years, 5 years after this. The Grand Inquisitor is in Rebels, but she stabbed him in the stomach here, and he falls down and he looks dead. So, Christian, I'm going to ask you first for some slightly more knowledgeable conjecture, and then Alan, we'll go down to you because I just want general conjecture. Is the Inquisitor we see in Rebels a different guy, but the same race with the same tattoos, or is he not dead and does he come back? Christian, what's going on here? What do you think?
So I don't know for a fact because I haven't had a word with the story writers, but I would assume that this is the same character. I can't imagine that they're going to come up with a character that looks exactly the same, has exactly the same title, and all the rest of it. That this has got to be the same character. So that tells me that he isn't dead. Now, granted, he looks dead on the floor. There's lots of situations in the Star Wars universe whereby someone's been killed and they come back. In some ways more believable than others, if there can ever be a sort of a lifeless body return reanimated in a realistic way. But yeah, my gut feeling is that he's not dead. He's coming back.
I can tell you exactly what happened. He has two stomachs. That's actually the truth. I researched it. This particular
did you really?
Yeah, the species has two stomachs. So therefore, he could take a stab in one stomach and easily be fine with the other and get in a back to tank, and he'll be all right.
That's freaking brilliant, Alan, because other than it's the same character, the only other thing that I thought JT just put up, maybe the Grand Inquisitor is their first attempts at clones or something, but that's freaking. So Alan, your conjecture from a third party outsider's perspective is that this guy's physical being allows him to take a lightsaber to the stomach and just
that's
be okay
what I
later.
found in my research that he my deep research. I had like a quill by candlelight
and the candlelight with the glasses and right. And Kevin was on your back the whole time while you're doing
Kevin was helping me.
Yeah. That, you know what though, Christian, it's some excellent points. Maul was cut in half, like you say. He came back. Cobb Vanth looked dead on the ground, even though they were going like, we kind of knew they were giving him first aid and stuff like that. And here you go. Did you ever hear the story of right down that line? So, when she hit him with the lightsaber, though, most of these shows at this point, since we've seen so many of them all of our lives, we're all old enough to have done that. It's some of it's a little predictable. It's still fun, but it's a little predictable. Plus, we know where Obi-Wan ends up, so only certain things can happen. But when she turned and stabbed him with the lightsaber, I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. Did that shock you, Christian, to see that?
Yeah, 100%. It did shock me. I didn't see that coming. I thought that we were going to continue seeing this bickering, and then one way or another, she was going to take the lead. And I wasn't expecting it to happen this quickly. So yeah, it did shock me. I just checked, and I've got written down here that this is set 9 years before Rogue One, and Rebels is set between 4 years and the same year as Rogue One. So yeah, about 5 years difference. I might not be exactly right, but that's what I found out. But yeah, I mean, I was shocked that this went down, and I think that it's calculated because the people that make these programs, they know how much loved they are and how passionate the fans are. So they know that everybody is going to be shocked at the fact that the Grand Inquisitor has just been killed. So, yeah.
Yeah, it worked. I did not see that coming. I thought she was going to die before him. That's for sure. Alan, we've talked about this before. I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but she's killing me, Alan. I'm trying to love this character. Yeah. What did you think of this? Is this overdone? Am I being too critical? Help me out here, man.
No, I mean, it was overdone. I mean, it could have been cooler. The stance didn't look that cool. This is where I get into the visual piece of it too. I mean, if I was the director, I'd be like, cut, hold on, you got to stand different. You got to make this look cool if you're going to do it, But yeah, if she just would have turned around and just got right back to business, like let me figure out how to get whatever, that would have been kind of cool. But also I was kind of preoccupied with the thought that, yeah, the Inquisitor kind of is getting in the way. The Grand Inquisitor, every time she's just about to get him, he's stopping her. She almost had him. It's almost like, I don't know. That's the piece. I know that was frustrating Bailey as well. So I concur.
I like your guys' take that the reason why she's acting like this is because, as Bailey said it, she's the only one getting anything done. And these idiots that are walking around, doing a lot of talking aren't actually getting anything done. And she's not worried about keeping people on their side. She just wants to catch Kenobi, and they can worry about getting people on the Empire side later, that's an interesting take on that. It's helped me understand this character a little bit more. Christian, specifically this scene, of all the scenes she had, this doesn't. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, exactly the same. It felt comedic. It felt animated. I've said, like, I do like this character. I'm excited about what she's doing. I'm excited about where potentially this character could go. But this sort of, standing, shaking her fist at the, Dan, next time, it felt Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Alan. Yeah, right. Yeah. And somebody said it earlier. We have a little bit of time. There were so many Easter eggs in this that I didn't point them all out. I mean, there were literally probably hundreds I could have done slides on, but seeing the Rebel transport in the background was really cool. And it reinforced the fact that the rebellion was just built up of whoever could come and bring a ship. So, I thought that was really, because this isn't actually a Rebel transport. It's something else. And they just used them as Rebel transports. So I thought that was cool. Good catch, Jonathan. So, I really wanted Bailey's thoughts on this. We should have started with the end and moved backwards. But Christian, I want to go to you on this. We've never really been told, or we have, but it's now legends, how Obi-Wan finally found out that Anakin was Darth Vader. And I have a continuity issue, Christian, that I'd like to get your opinion on. They watch in Revenge of the Sith, they watch the holocron thing of security footage of the Emperor calling him Darth Vader. Okay. It happens in Revenge of the Sith. They're watching and he goes, "Rise, Lord Vader." So he knows that Anakin's name was Vader. Now we've got this guy in black running around calling himself Vader, but this is when he finds out Anakin is Vader and he's alive. Christian, did that bother you? Was this enlightening to you? What did you think of how he found out from Reva?
What were you referring to there? In Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan sees that.
Yeah, so because they're back at the Jedi Temple, him and Yoda, and they want to know who was killing the younglings with a lightsaber. And so he goes into the security footage of the Senate room where Anakin and the Emperor had just killed Mace Windu. And he goes into the security footage. You will find nothing but pain. And one of the holocrons that he's looking at is "Rise, Lord Vader." When he dubs him Darth Vader, so he's heard the name.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'd completely forgotten about that, to be honest with you. But that makes me question: at any point has Vader been mentioned in this to Obi-Wan?
Yes, during this exact scene, she says, "We're taking you to Lord Vader. That's why you're not dying today, but he wants you."
Right, but prior to this scene, Vader isn't actually mentioned to Obi-Wan, I don't think. So are we going down the route of the fact that he's not making the link between them until this very moment? Because if that's the case, it kind of makes sense. But I noticed earlier, the fact that Reva's chasing Bail. Initially, that made me think, well, how does Reva know that Leia is related to Luke? But actually, it's nothing to do with that. It's the fact that Reva knows that Bail worked with Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars. So that kind of makes me think that, are they going down the route that although Obi-Wan knows of Vader, he hasn't linked the two together? I don't know. I mean, assuming that that's the case, he just hasn't linked those two up. Then I thought this was brilliant. Personally, I really enjoyed this. I've got to be honest with you. I actually found the way that they did the transition and the sound effects, the design, everything. I found it frightening, and I mean, that shot in itself is pretty terrifying, and I just liked the transition between Obi-Wan hearing Anakin in his head and then seeing Anakin in that Bacta tank, assuming that is a Bacta tank, and yeah, that felt terrifying, and the way that he is looking out at you, it felt the way that I feel that Vader is in Rogue One, and the way that I always thought Vader was in the original trilogy. Absolutely terrifying. And this was also a nice little nod to obviously Luke in Empire in the back to tank as well. So it's quite nice that they've got all these mirrors going on.
So, Alan, once again, you talk about a deep dive in the lore. I even had to explain some of it to Christian, who I consider to be a pretty huge Star Wars fan. Are you catching some of what I believe are minor inconsistencies with when and where and how Obi-Wan Kenobi finds out that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker? Or do you care?
Well, when I was watching it, I wasn't picking up on those kind of things, but in my research afterwards, when I was looking, into the, these, as much as I could, that was one of the biggest things that popped up was that, and somebody had mentioned it earlier. It was like, I think it was Sergeant Jen. Is just how does Reva know who Vader is, and also like if Vader knew, he would instantly kill anyone that because he would probably sense it that she knew. I'm assuming she would know because she has those abilities to like read minds a bit. But if she's like dabbling around in Vader's mind, that's not going to be a good idea. And some of the other things, it was a bit of it seemed weird to me. Like, once I looked at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good point. How would they know? But going into that whole seeing Vader was phenomenal. Like, right as he pops up and he's in the, the tank, it's pretty spooky. I can't wait to see him, because he would be like in his 20s around this time, right? Like late 20s, early 30s.
He should be in his 30s by now. If I'm doing the timeline, Christian, I see you nodding your head. Do you think that's
I'm pretty sure he's sort of mid-30s at this point.
So this is going to be a spicy, young Vader. Like we never really got to see him like this, right? Or did we ever get to see him at this age?
Very, very, yeah. Well, Rogue One is the closest we get to see, and Vader's a badass in Rogue One.
He comes down that thing.
Yeah,
I just watched that recently again. That was so cool.
Yeah. So. Now we got 90 seconds of the Vader that I wanted to see my entire life. So hopefully we'll get more of that.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to think that having read books years ago about Obi-Wan Kenobi that are now legend and don't count anymore might be jumbling my mind up, because in the books, Obi-Wan had seen on the news hollows this Darth Vader guy, and he knows it's Anakin and stuff like that. And by the time of A New Hope, obviously he knows Anakin and Darth Vader are the same person. That's why he lies. But yeah, so I'll be interested to see how the timeline kind of works out on this one, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But like, how does Reva know? Why did Obi-Wan not make the connection between the two? Has he never heard of Vader, which I find hard to believe, but we'll see. Yeah, and you know what, Brett, making a good point. Makes sense. He wouldn't have heard about him during that time. Who knows? This, and Steve-O and a couple of other people have made great points as well. It's another clue that Reva's working directly for Vader. She's his plant in the Inquisitors, keep them all fighting amongst themselves and none of them can rise up against Vader type of thing. Who knows? But wow. And Christian, you pointed out something that a lot of YouTube commentary is stating there, the edit, and Alan, you understand this as well. The edit between him realizing and then us seeing Vader is a jump cut. It's not a fade or anything. It's like jarring all of a sudden, which is why I think you found it so scary. Do you think that had something to do with it, Christian?
100%, yeah, because this whole sort of, in fact, the two episodes, we've had all these shots of Ewan not saying much, but seeing that he is processing what's going on and making all these difficult decisions. And then when he gets on that transport ship and he looks out at the camera, you can see that he is putting those pieces together. And it is like a massive penny dropping, look at his face, the sheer terror and confusion, shock, everything that facial expression is displaying. And then when he hears it, and I don't know who says it, who actually says Anakin, because there is a soundbite of Anakin. He doesn't whisper it. Somebody
He's saying
says
it. I think the implication is that he says it in his head through the Force, reaching out to him. And that's what wakes Anakin up, because he feels Obi-Wan in the Force finally.
Right, and then there is just on that jump cut, there is that sound effect, and it's like a real deep, like almost like a rumble, like a boof. Mm-hmm. That was a professional sound effect there.
Yeah, it's good.
And yeah, and when we go to that, I mean, honestly, like it's just cinematic genius in my opinion. That is terrifying, and that's all we needed. And we're all sat here like, what is coming?
Alan, you know a lot about editing. Heck, you do it for a living. How the editing, the way this scene was acted in, and the filming and the sound effects, what'd you think of this?
Oh, it was cool. It was everything you needed to put you in that moment and give you that feeling of, this ominous, foreboding entity that's floating around that, we're hopefully going to get to see a lot of.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. So you wanted to see Darth Vader much early on, but at this point, at least this little bit, did this give you a little bit of satisfaction to at least know, hey, we still are going to get some of this?
Yeah, I wanted to see him at any given point. Just like it would be cool if he just suddenly appeared, but like I kind of knew they were gonna hang on to that. But
Right.
it's kind of crazy now that it's this 2-part intro is done,
Mm-hmm.
that we got to see so much like already.
Yeah.
Kenobi's using the Force. Vader's opening his eyes in the back of the tank. It's a lot has happened. The Inquisitor got stabbed. If you think about it, a lot has transpired. So it'll be interesting to see what comes next.
Well, Christian, I'm going to ask you the same thing in a second, but let's stick with Alan for just a second because we had this problem last series. We got to see all that stuff, but did it feel rushed to you, Alan, or are they pacing it correctly?
Didn't feel rushed because there was parts of the show, like I say, where I was, I blacked out. I was like, so, which I get it. There's something for everyone there. But yeah, it wasn't rushed. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad they did it in 2 pieces as well.
Christian, the pacing on this one, you happy with it? Too slow, too fast?
So it depends on what comes next, basically. I've loved it. I can't articulate enough how much I've enjoyed these 2 episodes, and I am hungry for more. Like this is the first TV show that I am thoroughly enjoying, apart from Mando, obviously.
Right.
And I was expecting that this quest to go and get Leia and bring her back, I felt like that was going to be protracted over several episodes. So I was kind of surprised that was wrapped up so quickly. So it depends on what comes next. Is the next 4 episodes going to be him trying to get Leia back to Alderaan, because that didn't take him too long to get from Alderaan to where he got her, or is this going to be about from here on getting Leia back safely and the repercussions of showing himself in public?
That's very interesting because so far I think they've done so well that they've kind of set the bar now, and I don't want it to crash next episode and the pacing be all off and be all weird. So I hope they keep, G-Force made a good point. 6 episodes. I think they got to keep this pacing. It's fast, but it actually felt a little slow to me a couple of times the first episode, which I was happy for. Right, Al?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So overall, I think I'm not complaining. I think it's like you said, Christian, since The Mandalorian, they've just been kind of like, oh boy. And thank God they didn't screw up Kenobi, because Bailey is going to be inconsolable if they did. So, but with that, I want to move over to a tradition we have here on each of these. We're going to do this whole 2 episodes as one big show. Okay, so I just need one number from you, Christian. If you're going to give this new Obi-Wan series, both episodes, a grade from 1 to 10, where are you at and why?
Okay, so I'm rating it very high. I'm going to go with a 9.5 on this because it was, for me, it was nearly perfect, because I went into it eyes wide open, no preconceived ideas. The reason that I'm not giving it a full 10 out of 10 is because of Scooby-Doo chases. Instead of going around obstacles, we're going over and under them, and also the bickering. There was something off about Reva, whether it was the performance, whether it's the character, that bickering. It sort of pulled me out a little bit. At this point, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I want to like her as a character in Star Wars.
I agree. Before I go over to Alan, if you're in the chat and you're still here with us and you'd like to let me know what your score is, 1 out of 10, and maybe a quick sentence on, what it was you liked most, or if you give it a really low score, what you hated most about it in the comments, I'd love to hear that as well. And then we'll throw those up after. But Alan, both episodes, 1 to 10, where are you at and why, my brother?
I would give it a solid 8, I would say.
Fair enough.
And, it's because of the fact that it was really good. They got a lot done. You got to see a lot of the things you wanted to see. And it's only the first, foot forward. So,
yeah.
Well, second, technically.
Yeah.
Does the second part count as the first episode, or is it a whole separate episode?
It was supposed to be a whole separate episode, but they jammed two of them together and moved them back so that they would coincide with Celebration, so they could give the fans a sneak preview there.
Yeah, so for me, a solid 8. It was cool. It was good to see Vader. It was good to see, them push the story forward. But overall, it's just the fact that this is good acting. Like, we have real actors going on here. I would have given an extra point if we could have got young Angela Bassett in as Reva. She would have been way better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but unfortunately, Angela Bassett. Yeah, I feel you. That would have been awesome
or something now.
Yeah, but you can't tell because she's aging so well. She's still gorgeous. Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah. I remember something you said when you joined us on the Book of Boba Fett, Alan, and it stuck with me ever since. When Mando's on the screen, I'm having fun.
Right.
Boba Fett, not so much. And this is when I realized that I like Tamora Morrison. He's a great guy, just not the actor Ewan is at all.
Yeah, he's not an actor. Yeah, he's not like a hardcore, thespian, as it were. I mean, some people may not agree, but I
don't know how you could. So this is to you, Alan. This is better than what we just went through.
Oh yeah.
With Book of Boba Fett. Okay.
Yep.
Good. All right. Well, let's go over to the comments really fast, you guys. GeForce is at a 9.5 with you, Christian. Yeah. And by the way, yeah, that's correct. We're 1/3 of the way through the show. After 2 days from now, on Wednesday, or 3 days from now, we'll be halfway through the show in 1 week already, Christian. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
I almost feel like you're getting gypped. You came on the show. You don't get to spend that much time with me, as like so many other people have.
It's like you planned
through the front door and trip over the back gate.
Right, exactly. Josh, 9 out of 10. Absolutely. Yeah, JT, no messing around this time, 9.5. Yeah, wait, where was Scooby? Zoinks, yeah. Jonathan, 9 out of 10. Wow, this is doing much better than some of our other shows. That's Steve. I still love Star Wars, but it's a 6 so far. Now, Steve was the one, Steve-O was giving the Bad Batch episodes much higher grades than we were. So, Steve-O, I might have to drag you on as a guest and have you explain that one to me. Sergeant Jin, 9 out of 10 because I haven't seen the whole series yet. Great Star Wars. Oh, for an old dude who pays attention to weird stuff, this was so much fun to watch. So many eggs. There you go. Christian, would you be upset if they brought not Ewan McGregor? You know what his name is. Qui-Gon Jinn, the actor.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah. Who's the actor?
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. Would you be upset if we saw him as a Force ghost?
I'm hoping we do. You know what? Why not? It feels right to see him, and we've already seen Obi-Wan crying out for him, literally, calling out for Obi-Wan, for Qui-Gon. So yeah, it would be lovely to see him come back.
You know what would be cool is if they got Qui-Gon Jinn to come in, and as soon as he pops in as a Force ghost, he calls up Leah's captors, and he's like, "I don't care where you are, I will find you."
I have a particular set of skills. That would have been, it would have ruined the whole show, but I would have loved it and it would have been fine. I would have loved to have seen it. I have a particular set of skills. Oh, man.
You're a son of a biscuit.
See, Christian, I have a whole bunch of brothers and we're all like this, just so you know. Okay, so it ain't just me. Sergeant Jen agrees with you on Bassett, Alan. Oh, Shanti, I'm sorry. Yeah, you missed Bailey too. She was here earlier. She had to go because she's got a social life. But 9 out of 10, good for you. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Connor, someone checked to see if Steve-O had his. Yeah, Steve-O gave it a 6. That's interesting. On a positive note, Christian, this time no porn bots, none at all. Maybe we blocked all 50 that I got last time. So that was due to Connor. Thank you. We saw Ben, yeah, Sergeant. Okay, so with that, I think we're going to start winding it down. We're already at 2 hours 7, so I'll just ask you guys one last question for some quick thoughts on the next episode 3 that we get of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Christian, let's go back over to you. Do you have any predictions, or do you have something that you really want to see specifically next episode that you kind of thought was maybe left hanging here, or you want to get some more information on, or do you have nothing?
So a few things. First off, I'm kind of, there is a part of me that's hoping that we get Leia back to Alderaan quite quickly, and we then deal with the aftermath of Obi-Wan showing himself publicly, and about distracting the Inquisitors and Vader from Tatooine, but ultimately getting back to Tatooine to protect Luke. I'm quite interested to see that. I feel like Reva is going to have an interesting arc in this. I kind of don't want to see her go from a bad guy to a good guy, but I feel like we might see something going on there. Especially, I tried to avoid watching any other shows before coming on here because I wanted to give my honest opinion unimpeded. But hearing Bailey talk about the fact that that opening scene could come back, and that Reva could be one of those Padawans, I feel like potentially, we could have some sort of a situation whereby Reva is hating on Obi-Wan because she in some way blames him for what's happened to her life. And yeah, I don't know. I think that we're going to see a lot more about that. And obviously, I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is dead, so I think he's coming back.
I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is dead, and I do not want a redemption arc for Reva. I want her to go out in a blaze of glory, as a bad guy. And Jonathan's, no redemption arc for Imperial has done way too much. Agree. Alan, next episode specifically, are there things that you're looking forward to seeing, the loose ends tied up, stuff you wanted more information on, or do you have some predictions that you wanted to get out there, or both or none?
I do think there's going to be, unfortunately, a redemption arc for Reva. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you really?
I don't think it'll be in the next episode, but I think she'll kind of, go back and forth a bit. And she may even have, and this is me not knowing anything about anything, but she may even have some kind of weird idea in her head that she's going to kill Kenobi and Vader or something like that. Maybe she blames them all for it. Obviously, that's not going to work. But I would like to see, as far as what I would like to see is more Vader. I want to see how, he lives and breathes at that age in that, version of the world,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see, or the galaxy, I guess it were. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But that's what I'm most excited for.
Nice. I like the way I didn't even think about that, but that's brilliant because that's what the Sith do, Alan. They kill each other so they can become the next, apprentice to. So maybe she's scheming in the background. I'll get rid of this dude, then I'm getting rid of Vader, and I'll be number 2. And I never thought about that either. Clearly, it never happens, but I would love to see her just completely, if she's going to be all out like this, just completely continue to be a horse's ass and die painfully for it. I don't want no redemption arc. So if you think that's going to happen,
I do think Vader's going to kill her, though. I don't know if anyone knows how Reva dies, but I feel like Vader's going to kill her at some point.
Christian, correct me if I'm wrong. She wasn't in Rebels. She's a brand new character, right?
As far as I'm aware, she's a brand new character. I'd certainly never seen her in anything else. I mean, granted, I haven't seen a lot outside of the films, the TV series we've had recently, and Rebels, but I've not seen her mentioned anywhere else.
Wow. Really, wow, JT. I could be watching Star Wars Celebration, but I'd rather be here spending time with awesome people talking about an amazing show. Thanks to Paul, Christian, Alan, and Bailey. Wow, thanks, JT. It started. Yeah. I'm watching both. Good for you, Jen. Yeah. You know what? Josh agrees with you, and Josh is no slouch when it comes to Star Wars, as I think Christian and I can attest to. So you may be on to some things there. And Shanti's with me. I want to see that bit.
Jonathan said, I'm hoping for a Rogue One levels of badass Vader, and that's exactly what I'm wanting. I want a scary, spicy Vader. Just get out there and chop people up, force grip, do all kinds of shit. I want to see all that,
Exactly. Yeah, so Jen agrees with us, a brand new character. But Alan, I wholeheartedly agree with you. That Rogue One hallway scene, I was like, that's Darth Vader, not this asthmatic old man who can barely keep up with Obi-Wan that we got in New Hope.
Yeah.
So, oh, my God. All right. Well, guys, it has been a blast. We were at 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll be back Wednesday. No, we'll be back Thursday at noon Pacific, 8 UK. What, Christian? What?
You're just confusing the audience as much as possible, aren't you? We'll be back Thursday. It may be Saturday today, but we'll be back next week.
One thing's for sure, we'll be back.
We'll be back. And Alan, Christian got a big mouth over there. I noticed he's not running his own stream though, is he? He did get on my
Get him, Christian. He's right there. You could get him. He's right there.
Spicy Vader, Atomic elbow on tip. Yeah. All right. Christian, I love you, brother. But that's a good point. Here's the problem though. Christian, just to continue to make your point, I only know this from guys who were on the show that have said, no, it's switching back to Wednesdays. And I've seen some people say so. So we're basically going to just have to keep watch and then I'll get the icon up with the date for the live stream as quickly as possible when we realize when the show is. So you'll just have to do me a favor and pay attention to my YouTube channel and or Bailey and Christian's Twitter, and we'll keep you informed. But at this point, I'm guessing we're going to be back Thursday at noon Pacific, 8 p.m. UK. And Christian's got a good Christian's shots fired. Shots fired. We got shots fired. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Brett. But before I wind us out of here, I don't like to cut anybody off any more than I already do. Christian, did you have any last thoughts or anything you wanted to get out before I start getting this going?
No, I'm good. I'm excited. I like where we are at the moment, and I'm excited for what's coming.
I agree. Alan, how about you, sir? First of all, Alan, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're busy lately. Thanks for jumping on here with us and helping fill in for Bailey again. I do appreciate it. But any last thoughts, brother?
Well, just thanks for having me. It's always fun coming on here and hanging out and adding that much needed
levity
and like I don't know shit about Star Wars for you.
Ignorance and stupidity. Yeah, all those good things I love about you.
Bring that ignorance and stupidity.
You know what? No, I love you for your honesty. You know what, Paul? All that stuff sounds great. I blacked out during that scene though. I don't care what Kenobi's face looked like. It was boring.
I was probably trying to get like popcorn off my shirt at that point.
Yeah, take care of that shirt. That's a good looking shirt.
It's a good shirt.
Yeah. Hey, did you see Christian's hat? Christian's got a sexy hat on.
It's a cool hat. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a badass hat. Yeah, if you can figure out which way to point it. There we go. All right. So let's see here. Shanti, great show from what I saw. Thank you so much. Josh, thank you for supporting us, man. I appreciate it. Jen, you've been awesome in the chat today. Thank you so much. Jonathan, awesome stream panel and chat. Thank you very much. And Shanti's always ready to come back and throw some 4-letter words down if we need to. I appreciate that. Jen, thank you for coming back. Great show. Thank you very much, Brett. And of course, Josh, I'm down to join anytime. I figured it would. Connor, thank you very much, sir. And Alan, nobody's perfect. Jen makes a good point.
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. I mean, you're as close as you can get, but what are you gonna do? Part of me kind of hopes the show tanks in the finalist. Jonathan, you live in the UK. You don't got to deal with her. She lives in the same complex as Alan. So
that's true. She's somewhere close by.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, hold on. Josh, I'll hold off before ending the stream. Important question. Okay, so we'll stand by for just a second here. While Josh is typing his question, then I'll do this real quick, you guys. Obi-Wan Kenobi breakdown. I got Christian. Christian, thank you so much. Alan, thanks for joining me, as always. And we'll be back most likely Thursday at noon Pacific, 8 p.m. UK. And Christian, I shouldn't have done it. I should have seen it coming. I'm sorry. That was Josh's question. Inside joke out. Yeah, I know.
I wear gray jeans. I'll take the heat with you, man. I also
thanks, Alan. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Alan, he's down for you, Christian.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my God. All right. Before I get any stupider, Christian's webcam is made of gray jeans.
That's a good one.
Wow. Oh my God. It's been awesome, you guys. I've had a blast. But with that, Alan, Christian, you guys both know how we do. So let's hit everybody with a thumbs up and get on out of here and go do some stuff. Let's go enjoy Celebration. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.